probably not dating. Some of you might be, but I figured most of you are already doing this. All right, so who here has a friend that is not the same gender as you? Okay, so most of you, well, then you would still not raise your hand. All right, so most of you have friends in every gender category, which is frightening to say the least. But I would say there are definitely some upsides. Can we keep the balloons out of the circle, James? Thank you. Just throw it right there. Yep, like that. Just over the shoulder. Just throw the balloon. Throw the balloon. Throw the balloon. Oh, and Jeremiah, could you go pause the music? I forgot to do that. James, I did ask you to get rid of the balloons. Can you please? Thank you. Okay, cool. Shh. Could you pause the music? I forgot. I had remote control of the computer and I started the slideshow and then just spaced it on the sweet 8-bit background music. I love 8-bit background music. What's Tarzan? Is your mouse stuck on the projector screen? Okay, sweet. All right, so real quick, I just want to gather some information from you guys. First off, is there anything you can think of that might be wrong with having a friend of the opposite gender? Is there anything that's wrong with that?
No.
Okay, seems totally fine. Yeah, you got something? Okay. Not actually to do with anything we're talking about. Shh. Guys, I realize that the opportunities to make mean jokes right now is going to just skyrocket the further we go into this topic. I'm asking you, for the sake of yourself, to actually get anything out of this conversation. Take those jokes and save them for later when you're all by yourself and you can just sit in a room alone and laugh about how mean you can be to someone.
We're just sitting in the
But for now, no. Don't be mean to people around you. Don't be mean to people who aren't here. Let's just not even be mean to imaginary people that don't even exist. Moses, do you have anything you'd like to add that's real?
I'm friends with my mother.
Okay, fantastic. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with being friends with anybody. You could be friends with anybody. Now, that said, there are different ways to be friends with people. And that's really where this conversation goes. So, let's talk about a few things here. Oh no. Oh no. When you paused the music, you destroyed my ability to advance the slides.
You paused it.
Sorry, Jeremiah. Jeremiah, if you guys don't know, Jeremiah uses computers in a higher capacity than I do at his work. And so he's my go-to when it comes to my computer broke and I'm up here. So I don't have to jog back there. Okay, can you be friends with someone of the opposite gender? Yeah, the Bible does not forbid close friendships between boys and girls. Does not forbid that at all. It seems totally chill about it. But it does say to flee from temptation and all youthful lusts. So here's the fun fact about your years in middle school. For most of you, these years in middle school are the years where you will switch from being young enough that someone of the opposite gender is basically the same to you as someone of the same gender to wha-ching, suddenly hormones say they're different now. And there's not a ton you can do to stop that. It usually happens wait, I wasn't done. Go back. It usually happens right during middle school. Now, for some of you, it won't. Some of you guys, it'll take longer, and that's fine. And, oh well, it's not a big deal. But the Bible makes it very clear, if you have a friend of the opposite gender, do not put yourself into situations where temptation is a big issue. Can anyone think of what kind of situation you'd have to be in for temptation, lust to become an issue? I know, it's kind of a deep question. All of a sudden, James!
I just have a question.
Yeah.
Picture, who's the boy and who's the girl?
I've seen it without the text floating over it. This one's the girl. This one's the boy. Okay, time out. I asked you guys at the start. We're not going to be making jokes about us. We're not going to be making jokes about other people outside this room. We're not even going to be making jokes about imaginary people that don't exist.
Think so.
Shh. My mom has some facial hair on her upper lip, and I still think she's very beautiful. I don't think facial hair is a problem I don't think there's anything wrong with it, and I don't think you should mock someone for it, because guess what? They have about as much control over that as you have control over whether your hair is curly or straight. Right? Like,
I'll control this.
you see my point though? Like, if you hated it, it's still yours. Like, you're still stuck with it. It doesn't matter if she likes it or not. It's the lip she was born with, right? So don't make fun of someone's appearance like that. That's not okay.
She loves it.
All right. Yeah, she seems like she's having a fantastic time. I don't think it's stopping her. All right. Last thing, spending time alone with someone of the opposite sex is different than spending time with them as part of a group. It's different. Being alone with them and being in a group with them is different. Now, as I said, middle school years, transformational years, things will start to change as you keep getting older. So if this doesn't feel different yet, that's fine. It doesn't have to feel that way. I'm telling you right here, right now, someone who's lived through those years already, it becomes different.
It's different.
It's different. Oh, bye, Emily. I was hoping you get to stick around for the dating part, too. Oh, well. That's a bummer.
Bye.
This will be the most interesting night because our chaperones will be the only couple that's here together. Jeremiah's other half is not here. Hannah's other half is downstairs. My other half just went home. So we'll, huh? How many halves do you have?
I'm 16.
All right. So let's keep going. We're still talking about just being friends, what that looks like and what we should be thinking about.
I have no friends.
So there's this verse in 2 Timothy 2:22. It's pretty easy to remember. Do you guys remember where that is already? 2, 2, 2, 2. 2 Timothy 2:22. Now, this passage, 2 Timothy 2:22, it's written by Paul. He's like an old pastor, and he's writing to Timothy, and he's like a young pastor. So, old guy to young guy, he says this: run from anything that stimulates youthful lusts. Instead, pursue righteous living, faithfulness, love, and peace. Enjoy the companionship of those who call on the Lord with pure hearts. So I think this is kind of cool that he puts these two things in balance right next to each other. Because on the one hand, there's run away from things that tempt you. And so you might be thinking, like, because it's from an older guy to a younger guy, that means like that younger pastor can never be a pastor over women. He's like, oh no, I have to never talk to women ever again. But it doesn't say that. It just says to run away from the things that stimulate youthful lust. And then it says, and this is the great balancer, enjoy the companionship of those who call on the Lord with pure hearts. And you'll notice there's an implication in this sentence. This is a plural number of people. It says those. So he's not saying things that contradict each other. He's putting the wisdom right into the command. You can just be together in a group setting, and it's not going to be the same as when you're alone. All right. So yeah, you could totally still be friends with someone of the opposite sex. But then there's this other verse, and I really want you guys to think about this. This is in 1 Thessalonians 5:22. It says, avoid every appearance of evil. Now, the word appearance can have two meanings in English. If you read through several translations of this verse, you kind of get the idea of which one this is meant to be. Because we have appearance like the appearance of something. It just appears. Ba-ding! There it is. It just appeared there, right? Teleportation. And then we have appearance as in what you look like the way you look, right? So this kind of appearance is actually that second one. And what it means is avoid anything that can even look evil. Interesting. Okay, so give you an example. And I know you guys might hate this because it gets a little awkward. Imagine you are one of those people who has a friend of the opposite sex, right? Guys, girls, girls, guys. Okay. So you and your friend, you've been friends since you were like 4, right? Your parents tell you were friends in diapers, but you're like, I don't remember that. You guys have been friends forevers. And then now you're teenagers, you're getting up in years, and the two of you are hanging out, and the two of you come out of a room that you were alone in for a long time. But nothing happened. Like, it was totally fine. You're just friends who've been friends for years. But what would that look like to someone else is kind of the point. Like, simple fixes for this. You don't have to break off friendships just to fix this. You don't have to say, I'm sorry. It's because you're a girl. I can never be friends with you ever again. You don't have to do that. Leave the stinking door open. Hang out in the room where everyone else is. There are so many ways where you can still be close-knit friends, and you can avoid the appearance of evil. You can avoid the appearance that you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. You can just find ways around it. You don't have to cut off the friendship. Now, I would recommend, actually, if you're looking towards dating in your future, if you're looking towards marriage in your future, that you would actually start with friendship. I would highly, highly recommend it. It's actually what got me and Emily to start dating. Now, my case was a little different. I was really hoping she'd get to be here so she could tell her side of the story. I was the weird kid in junior high. I don't know if that's possible for you guys to imagine.
I have no friends.
Oh, super weird kid. I used to bring a backpack
You made a little girl.
to church full of props so that I could always have something to distract when a conversation got too awkward. All kinds of props. I used to bring RC cars, shoehorns, any sort of yo-yo, anything I could to just like distract from conversation. I was super weird and super nerdy. It's still true. In junior high. Oh, hey, Aiden, welcome.
He's my other half.
Congrats. You made it. We have one chair left. You want to add it to the rainbow? Or I guess we have two. Aiden, you want a chair? We got an extra.
Is that
No,
no?
today.
You're just going to stand there? That's weird.
Different girls in science.
Daniel.
Yeah.
I have ibuprofen.
Yes, there's like a med kit thingy in the kitchen. It's got, I believe, some ibuprofen in it. Where's your mom? Right there. You want to get him some ibu?
Wait, did you
Judah. He asked for it.
You want to get
Parents here, so I think this is the easiest solution.
Pastor Daniel
like some cup of water?
Yeah.
say ibuprofen or Bible-profen?
Neither.
That's crazy.
It's got a B in it, not a V. All right. Ibu. Like a ghost. Boo. All right. So I was a weird kid. Emily came to our church like after a year of me being in middle school. Her dad was the new head pastor. And so the youth pastor walks her in front of the group and introduces her. And she was super awkward. She says, I don't know. She just looked beautiful to me. I was this like 12-year-old boy in the back of the class going, I still remember like her in her red t-shirt, cute little middle school girl. Just walking up there. She was kind of like, well, she's still short. She was short then. And she's like looking at the ground, and she was like the apple of my eye from that day on. But we switched churches. That was like a different church. That wasn't this church. And we came to this church. We switched churches. And so like I didn't see her for years. And then God does weird things sometimes. Through like a Chico State dance, a friend invited my sister, and my sister goes, and then Emily's friend likes to dance, so Emily's friend invites her. So my little sister and my junior high crush meet up at a college dance, and then Emily says, hey, I haven't seen Daniel in a long time. What's he up to? And, you know, my little sister tells her whatever I'm doing at that point. And she's like, he should come to my graduation. It's in a few weeks. And so she asks for my number. She gets my number. She invites me to her graduation. So we end up hanging out as friends for like the next year and a half. No. See, this is the weird part. I didn't know it, but at the time, she was dating one of my childhood friends. I had no idea. And this is the best part, okay? So she invites me to go to the graduation. We hang out. We're friends for a while. And for the first few hangouts, I didn't realize they were dating. Like, I just thought it was like a bunch of friends being friends. And then like one day in the middle of all of us friends being friends, and I'm like, it's my crush from junior high. And then like her and my friend kiss. Like, oh, I've misjudged everything. It was the strangest moment because I didn't even know they were dating. And it got a little weird for me. And then I just had to like go before God and say, okay, so clearly you have a different plan than the one I had 5 minutes ago. So whatever your plan is, God, I'm just going to go forward with that plan. And so I determined, I set my mind, I had to pray a lot. It was hard. I'm just going to be a friend to Emily no matter what happens from this day forward. If they get married, I'm going to be a friend to Emily and my friend. And if they don't get married, I'm going to be a friend to Emily and my friend. And whatever happens, I'm going to be a friend to Emily and my friend. I'm not going to push. I'm not going to pull. I'm not going to try and make something happen. I'm just going to be a good friend. Because honestly, she was a good friend to me. And I felt like she deserved at least that. I felt like she deserved so much, but she deserved just that return of friendship. And so I did. I hung out with them for years. Or I guess it was like a year and a half, year and 3/4. I don't remember the exact number. It felt like 10 watching my junior high crush date my best friend, not my best friend, one of my childhood friends. And yeah, eventually they broke up. And I was just there as like a bystander, shoulder to cry on for the both of them. And eventually we started dating. But like, I didn't try and swoop in. I didn't try and like make it romantic.
Get out of here.
I felt so guilty. I called up my best friend and I said, okay, we got to talk. Because he knew Emily. Weirder situation still. I didn't find out till me and Emily got married. Apparently, he had a crush on Emily in junior high too. I don't even know. So we're best friends since junior high. I call him up. I sit down with him over dinner. And I'm like, okay, so here's the deal. Friend, Emily, dating. They broke up. I've always liked Emily. He's like, I knew it. I was like, yeah, I've always liked Emily. How long before I say anything? Like, it had already been like 6 months. And I'm like, should I ever say anything? Should I just never say anything? I feel weird about this. And so I just waited and I waited and I waited. Eventually, she said something and I was like, and I was like, yeah, okay. So confession time. And then she's like, well, I always knew that. I was like, what? You always knew? How the heck did you know? She's like, well, you sent me that love letter in junior high. I was like, but that was anonymous. She's like, Daniel, I was best friends with your older sister. She was there when it came in the mail.
No.
I read it to her. And Michelle's like, why would Daniel send you that? Like, so you've just always known this in the back of your mind and you still want to be friends? She's like, yeah, you were a good friend. Okay, this is really cool, but also I gotta take this in. And we started dating and like things went on from there. But the point was, our friendship was a real friendship. We had a real connection as friends. We liked to do stuff together way before she liked me. I can't say that that was before I liked her, because I liked her like the second she walked in the room. But we were friends. And that friendship continues to this day. At the end of the day, I'm done work, kids are in bed. There is never this sort of like, oh, Daniel's watching the game. I don't know what to do on Emily's part. Like, me and Emily love doing the same things. We love spending time together. And so we have a natural ability to just be like, do you want to do this? And the other one's like, yeah. And we just have fun. And to me, it's hard to imagine a marriage or even a dating relationship where that's not true. I have a really hard time imagining like a dating or a marriage relationship where both people in the marriage don't do anything together because they don't like any of the same stuff. I have a hard time picturing that. That's just been my experience. For my parents, it was concerts. It was entertaining. It was bringing people over to the house. They both enjoyed that so much. And the rest of the time, they had other things they were doing. But whenever they did those things, there was a connection between them. There was something they shared. And I think if you have a friendship before you go towards romance, it's good. So I encourage this. I absolutely encourage this. But as we get into more tonight, as we start to talk about dating, we're going to see that there's some more things to think about. But I would say friendship with someone of the opposite sex is great. All right, question time. Ariana. Faith.
That's great.
Did you know? I found out like this week. And you just proved this true. But I heard that crush is a crush until after 4 months, and after 4 months it's love. What?
All right, guys. Pop quiz time. We're going to hold the hands. New question.
Are you serious?
My brain meat is just churning out the thoughts right now. Okay. I want to poll. I want to poll. This is a question for everybody. I want to hear everyone's honest, like 5-word answer. What is love? Seriously, like what is love?
Is words.
She asked.
It's hard to think about. I'm asking every single one of you. I'm not going to skip any. I'm not even going to skip Elliot in the back. So you better think of an answer right now. What is love?
Well, that's the 5 words. Or can we just
I'm just giving you a minimum.
Daniel, need my cell phone.
Any thoughts yet?
Love.
Love is someone you like.
Also, get a chair.
Bam, I'm just like define.
Wait, whoa. I call on Krista first, which she hates, and now I want to hear her answer, not you guys chitter-chattering. Go ahead.
Love is where something sort of like an affectionate feeling where you want to be with that person forever.
That's a great answer. Okay, Daniel, what is love? I'm telling you guys, you got to think about this. This is not an easy question.
I have
Love is like when you like somebody.
Okay.
Like somebody.
You can't put enough likes.
You
Wish that the button had more likes available.
Want to be with them forever.
Okay, cool. Want to be with them forever. Good answer. Yeah.
Sometimes it's not just romantic love, it can also be like caring about someone.
Okay, so there's even unromantic kinds of love. Fantastic. Okay, Hannah?
I think it like
hard. It's okay.
I guess, like, is the question like,
What is love? It's 3 words.
what is love, or like, what is love?
Baby, don't worry.
Well, you're the one answering, so I would hope it's to you. Giving someone else's answer would be cheating.
I guess it's like knowing someone for a really long time and like spending like a lot of your life with them and like wanting to, I don't know, be with them.
Okay. Good answer. Good answer. Anna?
Which one?
I said Anna.
Same thing.
Shh.
Love is when the word love is an understanding of what you feel about each other.
Ooh, that's a great answer. Well done. Okay, Danielle.
Love is God.
Love is God. Ooh. Getting all equation-y on me. Okay, yeah.
Wrong answer.
Yeah.
I guess we don't want to spend a day apart.
I'm actually focused.
You don't want to spend a day apart from them. Elliot!
It's a part of your imagination. It's not real.
Dun, dun, dun. I feel like you stole Lily's answer. 'Cause I'm pretty sure she said that to me last week.
Right now.
Does he know that she thinks it's fake?
Jay.
All right, Abby, what's your answer? What is love?
Ella Grace.
Usually I do this in written. Shh, boys and girls. We're looking for some good answers here, not jokes. Usually I do this in written polls.
Reality.
Faith. Shh. I said shh. Usually I do this in written polls. Would you guys prefer that in the future? I give you all the embarrassing questions in print, and you can just type in your answers?
No.
No.
Because I could do it that way.
No.
We can actually, it's weird, on the sign-in thingy, you can ask one question of every person that signs in, but you can only have one. I think it's a weird limitation. Do you have an answer?
That's where you don't not love someone.
You don't not love them. Okay. Caleb.
No swipe.
You're attracted to the other person and they're attracted to you.
Okay. Mutual attraction. Yeah, Micah.
Opposite of Caleb.
Ooh. I told you not to make fun of anyone.
I did.
Sorry. Micah's turn.
Writing a letter to somebody and you write XO, XO, XO.
Yeah. The definition.
So in my family, I started something once, and Marie carried the torch for a lot of years, where like when you write a card to someone and you really love them, you just write I love, 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 love until you run out of space. When you have enough space to only put in YOU, then you're done. That you've written enough love on the card. And I did this to like 1 or 2 cards, and then Marie kept it going. My little sister was the cutest little sister. She wrote love, 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 love on like almost every birthday card for like 8 or 9 years. Where like everyone got this. We'd wait, like all of us 4 in the family would write our little things in birthday cards, and then Marie would come in and she would like finish. Birthday cards are funny to me. All right. Yes. Titus.
When 2 people like each other.
2 people like each other. Nina?
Love each other.
Companionship. Okay, very nice. Judah.
Failed.
I failed?
Failed.
What did I fail at?
James and Ella Grace.
James.
And do what
Oh, because I didn't call on the non-middle schoolers?
Oh wait.
I skipped the adults too.
love.
Love.
These are words.
What is love?
That was the question. He's getting warmer.
Solid pineapple.
No.
Trust me, Jeremiah, I want to hear your answer, but I don't want it to taint the other answers.
Hormones.
Well, technically,
Hormones! You know what? You know what I love most about this? I actually really love. I don't care how right, wrong, or opinionated you guys are. I just like hearing the unique answers that are serious. Seriously unique answers. I'm going to answer this because it might be a parent trying to get one of you guys in late. Pick one of you guys up early.
Well, I don't Is it mine? Here, here's the mic.
Was it you?
I'll leave for you.
Okay.
One of my leaders down, so the door's locked, and I will send someone down to let you in. Thank you.
I'll go. She's like, I don't like you.
Could I send one of my leaders just because the sign-in tablet's locked? Thank you for volunteering, though. Hannah, Jeremiah, when you guys want to go let a kid
I'll go.
sign in as the save?
is it?
Yeah, same. Or no, my bad. It's a children's ministry tablet. Do you know the children's ministry code for everything? Okay. I forgot. Okay. Aiden, what is love?
Charlie.
Charlie's like, I'm good. We don't have to do this. Okay, go ahead, Charlie. What is love?
Well, you see, when a mommy and a daddy love each other very much.
Go ahead, keep going.
Love is
We can play chicken, Charlie. You'll lose. It's fine. Love is temporary.
What?
Oh.
Yeah, because you die.
All right, and Aiden, because you die. Usually true. Usually true.
Invincible.
Aiden, what is love? You could have sat on the end. You could have waited longer. You didn't.
Love is thick.
Love is thick.
Love is thick.
It's like
I feel like they haven't written that song yet. All right, Moses, what is love?
Dora X swipe.
Shh, 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 shh. Oh my goodness. James, what is love? Shh, 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 shh.
Stop.
Go ahead, James.
So it's kind of like what?
Ella Grace.
Bro.
Aiden, you gotta let the man answer.
So love is kind of like
Oh, and Aiden, don't do that.
say where you met someone you want to be with them for a long time, but you could have like not met them, like they could have met you
But did you
because
meet
they
her?
could have been longer, like your grandmother or something.
Oh,
Either like a grandmother, like a family member,
sure.
or you could love.
Oh, Aiden. Get your butt in a chair. Go. Go. You're done. You're done, son. All right. Sorry, James. That was a good answer. I like that. Okay, Gabriel, what is love?
Can I have my brush back?
Okay. It's a feeling you have for people. An exceptionally large amount of feeling. All right, Faith, what is love?
Just breathe.
Romantic love is like a thing that is complicated and a thing I don't experience for obvious reasons.
It. Well said. Well said. Very succinct.
Need to brush
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Ariana, what is love?
my hair fill.
Love is Elsa.
Love is a lot of things.
It's fine.
Okay. All right, guys, good answers. Loved most all of them. Those were some really good answers. Okay, so Faith said something at the beginning of this that set off my quest to hear what you guys think love is. Because what Faith said was a crush lasts X amount of time, and then if it keeps lasting, then it's love.
Love is
That's
temporary.
what I heard, but I
Love
think
is
it
not
depends on the
temporary.
maturity level.
Okay. So, question for you guys. What if I told you that love is mostly not a feeling?
It's
an emotion.
It was interesting. I heard Caleb say mutual attraction. Mutual attraction. Usually when people say attraction, hey Moses, hands to yourself, dude. Moses, thank you. Most people, when they say attraction, they are talking only about appearances, visuals on the outside. But that's really not the only kind of attraction. There's actually a lot of other kinds, like what Faith just alluded to. Did anyone notice? Faith was not gesturing to the appearance of the boys in this room. She was gesturing to the behavior of the boys in this room. Does that make sense? So attraction is not just about appearances. It can be about all kinds of things. Now, that said, I first started out by saying love is mostly not a feeling. Love is some feelings, but love is more about action. It's about behavior. It's about what you do. You could say you love someone every day to their face in the nicest possible way. And if that was the only thing you did for them, to them, around them, it'd be hard to believe. If the only thing you said was, I love you, and then you never did anything nice, you never helped them, you never showed them any love, it would be hard to believe. Daniel, be nice. She didn't know that was your chair. Look at her face. She just walked in.
Abby get here.
Hi, Abby. Welcome. Dang, Daniel. Oh, yeah, that's Judah's now. All right. Leader persons, could I get a blue chair added in for Abby? I'm sorry, Abby. I should have helped you out there. That wasn't your fault. Thank you, Allie. There's a chair coming your way. Just you wait. It's right there. All right. Let's move on. Balloons. No, thank you. They were good for free time. Maybe we'll bring them back out later. All right. One more thing, guys. 1 Corinthians 10:31-33 says, as a matter of fact, do everything that way, heartily and freely to God's glory. At the same time, don't be callous in your exercise of freedom. thoughtlessly stepping on the toes of those who aren't as free as you are. I try my best to be considerate of everyone's. Aiden, why don't you just move, man? You don't have to sit there. You don't have to take this.
They're touching my hair.
Well, I'm serious, man. Like, move literally anywhere else with your chair. Take it with you. You don't have to sit next to them.
Actually,
All right, guys, let's finish the verse. It says, I try my best to be considerate of everyone's feelings in all these matters. I hope you will be too. Now, what this is getting at is that as you are a good friend to someone, you're showing them love. As you look out for them, you're showing them love. So even as you may have a boy-girl relationship that's not romantic yet, it's just a friendship. Well, I don't know the future. I'm just predicting that it hasn't happened yet, and that's the one we're talking about. Hey, Elliot, he actually does need crutches. Please do not wrestle those away from him.
But you can still try to. All right, I think we're just about done with this segment. I think we're almost ready for a game with some donuts attached. All right, guys, one more verse and then we'll break out into a game. One day, Jesus said to his disciples, there will always be temptations to sin, but what sorrow awaits the person who does the tempting. So this is actually my final caution. My final caution. As you are in, some of you guys, a relationship with someone of the opposite sex, keep in mind, like I said, junior high is the years where the hormones start to flow and things are going to start to change. Keep in mind that you are not the only person in that friendship. So as you continue in this friendship, you are not simply looking after yourself going, no, it's not a temptation for me. I'm fine. I'm cool. Whatever. I'm not tempted. It's cool. Think about the other person too. Check with them. It's going to be the most awkward conversation you could possibly have in middle school, but check with them. Ask them if it's weird for them, if it's hard for them, or if you guys need to start talking about ground rules. Like, we just don't go hang out together alone. We hang out in groups. Talk about it with the other person because they may be going through something different than you, and doing this, talking with them about it, considering them, is loving.
What if they're cheating on you?
As a friend?
As a friend.
What would that mean?
They have other friends.
That's allowed. That's not cheating. That's okay. They should have more than just you as a friend. That could become pretty dependent there. All right, guys. Being friends with someone is just as good a way to get to know them as dating them. In fact, it's usually a better way to get to know them. And there's no romantic commitment. So there's just that commitment to be a good friend, which means you don't have to break up if you realize there's no romance between us. So even if you think like, ooh, I actually kind of have a crush on that person, I would like to date them, you could just try being unromantic friends for a while.
Exactly.
And you would get to know them. You would find out all about them, just the same as if you were dating, except you don't have to break up.
Yes.
You could just be friends that don't date. And like nothing changes. It's fine. It's actually a lot better. All right, Aiden, you have to move now. You can't. I'm not saying you're the problem. I'm saying you're the solution. You gotta move.
I'm trying to look over.
James, that is the dumbest excuse I have ever heard. No one in their life has ever needed to kick at a chair so they could see past it. That is not real. All right, it is time for a game. Let's go.
Does it involve me?
Let's go.
Can we have donuts? See, I didn't have time.
I need some serious
I'll give you some
leader participation. And if I could get one of my chaperones to participate, it'd go even better. So, you wanna? Okay, cool. So then, Allie, if I could ask you to stay here and you could be the judge.
Who's Allie?
Would that be cool? Okay, Allie's the judge. All right, guys, have a seat. Have a seat. Have a seat.
I can't sit for any longer. I have ADHD. I get to move. Sit.
The one I assigned you. Faith, have a seat.
Yeah, in your side seat.
We're gonna get a chance to run around. I just want you guys to hear how the game works, so you're not running around wondering what the heck's going on. Balloons out of the circle, James.
Doing that, Moses.
James, don't even. No. Nope. Not even. Nope. Not even a little bit. All right. Shh. Hey, Faith. You just lost one middle school point.
We just not.
Just don't even.
Okay, so we're gonna do 4 teams again. Each team is gonna be captained by one of us leaders and Shane. Does anybody know Shane? This is Caleb's dad, Shane. Say hi, Shane. Okay, so rules are this. I'm gonna give Allie the remote in a second. Allie can just hit next as the rounds go by. And what's gonna come up on screen is an object.
Wow.
I have to say it that vague because there are so many different objects that are come up on screen. They're so random, they're so different, they're so weird. Each of them is completely different. Each object should be somewhere in this church.
Wait, like
Now,
Up here.
it's going to be a heck of a race because
I'm broken.
some of these objects, there might only be 1 or 2 in the whole building.
Wait.
There might not even be there might not even be 4 in the whole building. Now, to make it fair, I'm not going to use my keys because I have keys to all these doors, and I'm not going to use them. So every team is keyless.
Oh, you tell me if
What are we finding?
There's a few rules. Anything that comes up on screen, whatever the object is.
Oh.
And you bring it back. You're the first team to show it to Allie.
Child.
You win. Now, rules. There's some rules, okay? Number 1. Shh. You must stay with your team leader at all times.
Oh.
You cannot split up.
Oh.
Number 2. Any property damage, and you are out of the game.
What if I? What if
Also, you owe us for the property damage, but that's not part of the game. That's just real life. Just real life. Okay. Shh. Listen. Allie is the ultimate judge on who got there first.
Allie?
I am not going to judge. If I'm leading a team, I cannot. Okay? I cannot judge.
Is she gonna be swayed by the cry?
She'll be wherever Allie is.
Who is?
It's up to her. I don't know. Okay. Also, shh. You cannot go anywhere unless your leader says you can go there. So if you know there's an office with a thing in it, you gotta ask your leader first. If you know there's a room with a thing in it, you've gotta ask your leader first. Staying with your leader means your leader knows where the heck you're going. Okay, they cannot be the last one to find out where you are going. They gotta be the first one. So if you know stuff about where stuff is, tell your leader where it is and you can all go there. Remember, you're staying together as a team. All right, now, the restrictions on where you can go are pretty slim. You can pretty much go anywhere if you don't cause property damage. However, there is a high school group here tonight.
We go outside.
They could be in the middle of prayer right now. I don't know. So we're not going anywhere where they are. Anywhere where the high schoolers are, we are not going there. Abby, did you just take a donut without asking about the donuts? It's okay. Abby wasn't here when we made the restrictions on the donuts known to everybody, okay? Sorry, Abby. We should have told you. It's not... No, you were 2 here. You're the first one in line who got told. Aiden, have a seat.
I never
All right.
knew about these rules.
I know.
No, I'm serious.
All right. Not yet. All right, so any questions before we go? Try and keep your questions to the really serious stuff. Otherwise, we'll be here all night. Abby,
What's going on?
were you really gone or are you just messing with me? You're going to be on a leader team, so don't worry about it too much. Yeah.
Can you tell the person where you're going to go?
No, you must stay together as a team.
You must follow your.
Yes.
We need a fast team.
Do I need
People, I'm fast, but for a short amount.
Yeah.
I'll go on your team.
Yes.
Can we go outside?
If the thing is outside, then yeah. But remember, team leader is in charge, so they're going to be the arbiter of you can, you can't. Also, all the doors on this building are currently set to auto lock. So if you go out a door, you got to hold it, put a door stop down or something, or you're going to be stuck outside.
Hey, Adam, can we go across the street?
It's up to your team leader. I would say
I literally.
there is nothing that you would need to go across the street for. There is literally nothing. All right, Aiden.
So, how about Thank you.
Yeah. No. Actual leader and Shane.
People are in the leader.
All right, you guys ready?
Not you.
Hannah's got a question.
No, I'm
Yeah, you're
Oh, good question.
leader, like an actual leader.
Good question. I say we're going to do a 4-3-2-1. So first place gets 4 points, second place gets 3 points, third place gets 2 points, fourth place gets 1 point. Yes, Hannah. Go use the bathroom. All right, guys. Can I get my leaders up here? Shane and Jeremiah.
I was a little bit confused. Is it like you can ask your team leader if you can go with it, and they have to be
The whole team is always going to go with you, and you have to say where you're going. You cannot lead the team off in a direction with your leader going, where are we going? You have to know where you're going. Okay, cool. Team leaders, any questions? Okay, cool beans. I'm going to go start the game. This is your button. If you go forward too many, you can...
I don't think you guys
Are we going to assign teams?
Yes.
do it.
I think us leaders can just pick our kids.
There can only be like 4 teams.
How many tokens?
I don't know. We ended up with 5, 5, 4, 4, so there's 8 teams. Oh, but then we got Abby and Aiden, so 20 even. How are we being assigned teams? You pick. No one should be leaving the room at all! You can be on the team. Literally no one ever told you to get up out of your chair.
When we say don't be about
Sit down.
assemble, we all go into
All right, guys. Now comes the stupid time where I have to restate a rule. Because I said the rules, and then you guys started walking down the hallway,
Why are you guys so dumb?
which was against the rules. So you clearly didn't hear the rules. I'm going to make this so abundantly clear. Number 1, you must stay with your mom. Okay, no one's repeating it. Repeat after me. We must stay with our leader at all times. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Okay. No, James, no!
What if there's an air
Come on.
What if
All right.
there's a screen?
She was in the girls' bathroom, James. So you know that logic does not make any sense. Yes, Krista.
Air Jordan 1 bread.
A duel?
Duo.
No. All right, guys. So I believe there's 20 of you. Let's see if I'm right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I was wrong. There's 22. Go figure. All right. So 22 of you. And we have 4 leaders. So let's get the team leaders up here. Team leaders, go ahead and just pick out 5 kids. 2 of us will get 6. And we'll be good. Yeah, we are picking. I would love to get some amazing kids. You guys are all amazing. Can I have
Wait, there it is.
It's not why. It's not why. All right, guys, real fast before we leave the room, I need all the trash off the floor. You should know your team now. Trash on floor, pick up, throw away. Throw away trash, please. It's up to you, man. Of course they are. Here's the deal. I remember item 1. I tried to forget, but I couldn't. I'm not gonna item 1. I know you guys can figure out item 1. I'm just gonna be dead silent. It's hard. I know we're gonna have
I can help you with because I don't know all of them. Or heavier. I will carry you when you need easy. Okay, we're going downstairs. We're running outside. Team leaders, show me a hand if you're ready. What you need, Jeremiah? Alright, everybody get to where there's nothing between you and the door.
Which team are you going
Everybody get Alright, you guys all ready? There's not going to be an undermark. There's going to be Allie showing up what the item is. It'll be 2 clicks, Allie. One more. There you go. You got it, Allie? You got a shot. Come on, team.
Do I just do like what's
Okay.
I was
Don't hurt the Allie. Be nice. Hold on a minute. Is theft acceptable? Theft? What is theft?
That's a shark.
Someone stole my items. That's a good point. That is a good point.
Which pen is most like the pen on the screen?
All right, we're going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and make a new rule because obviously we need this. If a team member from any team has an item, you cannot take that item.
Girls,
Okay, sorry guys.
Not by trickery, not by brute force, not by any means. Okay, so if any person has an item, it's not sitting there, you can't take it, okay? It's theirs until the round's over.
These ones.
We don't go looking for it again. We all go with that one. Alright, you guys ready? Are you good, Allie?
okay. 3, 2, 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Sunagi. Got me one with a clippy on it. Got me one with a clippy on it. I think we should wait till the team's finished. The girl. Okay, you know what? Am I the first one with a team member here? Any team member?
I want to be so
Oh, okay.
It's hard to stay calm.
Yes.
I mean, never.
So that the teams get back to where they should go. Well, they're not in all places. But like they should all be like given to something.
How many people told you to do this?
Like, they should be
It was Daniel first. I saw
And stick it over here on our table of lost and found.
We got one in the bathroom. I got one in the bathroom.
I got some. That's not toilet paper.
Doesn't count. It's not be toilet paper.
Oh, give me Aiden, your butt. What? I got some in my.
My team.
Daniel's team right here ain't my ball.
My team.
Come on, dude.
I have a plan. I have a plan. Listen. Listen. I got a plan.
Sexually abused? I just got smacked. Sexually abused. Church march. What?
Wait a second. Are there stickers that are church march?
Churchy marchy church. What? Oh, what about these right here? This. It's merch from church. Whoa. Oh my gosh.
Wait.
Bag! Jeremiah's bag! What? What are we saying? What?
Merch from church. Wait, what is
It's
it?
merchy hats. That work?
Gobbledyzzle. You got it. No, you got it.
You're on Shane's team, right?
That's not merch. That's a Bible.
You'll have to put this.
That's mine. I got it first.
No,
Damn, Bibles are not merch.
One thing that I didn't get out of my bag.
She means Daniel the leader.
Oh.
Will you brought mine? Oh, good job.
Oh, Dennis,
What is that?
it's a jujitsu belt. You
Bring it in. My team.
How many items do you have?
No, your next camp.
All right, guys, I think we got to change this up a little bit. It's working, but it's not working as good as it could. All right, so everyone find a seat with your team. Everyone find a seat with your team.
We're done already?
Nope, we're changing the rules already. Have a seat with your team. Be seated togetherness.
I'm over it.
Lies. Still lies. All right, guys, sit in the team. All right, leaders, see if you got everyone.
To be with your team.
Do not wear the church merch. Thank you, Aiden. All right, let's see. I got Gabby. Where's Danielle? Danielle, Charlie, Gabe, and Judah. Okay, I got my 5. All right, guys. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna sit in a team.
Good idea.
We're gonna have the leader go as a supervisor, and 1 student go per round.
Me.
As the runner of that round. Okay. So, leader goes to the supervisor, 1 student per round. You must pick your runner before you see the item so that the runner and the leader know who's going. Okay? And the leader does not have to be there, they just have to see there. All right, you guys ready with the new rules?
Yeah.
Jeremiah, did you get all that?
No, can you pick me?
Did you hear the rule change? Correct, and 1 of them runs. Yes, and you pick the runner now. All right, I need my 5. Where's my 5 at? Let's sit over here, my 5. Danielle, Gabe, Judah, let's sit on this side. We're sitting over here, Charlie.
This is my runner. This is my runner.
I'm thicker than you all. It's not the answer. I'm not.
You're not. Big numbers.
What's running me? It's your jujitsu.
We'll have to sit.
You heard the girl Abby. Sit down.
Okay, who's trying to Holy Bible?
He's up to sit. You have to stay up. Easy one. All right.
All right, guys, we're gonna put in a rule to make this a little more challenging. A little more challenging. You guys listening? Listen up.
No.
All right, where the item rests, the student must lift it from. Where the item rests, the student must lift it from. They can both help run, but the person who lifts it from its resting place has got to be the student, not the leader. Okay?
Oh, I thought you were meaning like whatever it's on, you have to pick that thing up.
I thought you meant you have to run.
If you said that, it's already It's actually, we have to actually shoot it. There's a bad shot.
I need that more than you do. And I need those more than you do.
AirPods.
More like hair pods.
I have AirPods.
Bears.
Get grass. Watch out. I have to run so far for grass.
Probably has
I just wait for you to forget it. Is that how you forget things?
No, that's how you sound.
Okay.
Wait, how old are you? What month?
It's not. Every depressed scratches themselves. Pencil.
I need your shoe.
Until it locks.
All right, guys, that was the final round. We'll find out the scores in a minute, but for now, find a seat. Oh, I am lightheaded. Woo! You guys don't even know. You're the reason I stay as young and alive as I am. I still have sore muscles from arm wrestling you guys last week.
I arm wrestled you so hard.
I know, but sadly, neither of us really won. I think I lasted longer than you, but only because you gave up. I don't think I really beat you. You didn't?
No.
Oh.
Okay, this.
Well, it was like 3 of you, so I kind of forgot.
I wrestled Abby.
I'm the
I wrestled Abby and that new kid last week. What was his name?
Wait, you lost it. It was like you boyfriend.
Oh, I thought it was brother and sister.
I asked if they were brother and sister, and she's like, no. Who's Gracie? Gracie. Did you really take out your shoelaces to? Oh.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I'll just go shoeless tonight.
How disrespectful.
That's what I
You might be the first one.
Yeah, but you didn't unlace your Converse.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Wait.
All the way down to the like you took the laces off?
No. They're high tops, though. It's even
That is bad. That is bad.
Dana, do you know that you
Muffin Man?
first Slender Man? Last
all of you are far.
You guys don't even know. Okay, so today we have such technology. When Shrek came out on DVD, I was still a teenager. And I got that DVD, and it had a special feature in the menu system. I don't know if you guys remember this, but they had DVDs with actual Windows EXE executable software embedded on the DVD, and you could revoice scenes of the movie. And it would memorize your voice. It would record your voice into RAM, and you could actually like play back the scene with your voiceover. And but as soon as you took out the DVD, as soon as you closed it down, like that was it. It was gone. It was gone. So such a cool novelty, because you'd sit there with your friends and you'd memorize your parts and you'd memorize the lines, and like we got so good at the Muffin Man scene. It was ridiculous. I don't know if I could still get that high, but like my voice was so high at that point because I was just done cracking my voice in junior high. And so I could really pull off the Gingerbread Man voice back then. It was fantastic. Has anyone ever seen the original Shrek? Like Shrek 1 with no number on it?
Does that?
Yeah. It was a crazy good movie. Crazy good. Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man? The Muffin Man. The one who lives on Drury Lane?
Not my
gumdrop buttons.
Just kidding, I know you know.
I love that scene. Okay, why am I still doing this?
You're just.
All right. Do we have scores? Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's hear it, guys. You ready? Drum roll for team in 4th place. Who's in 4th place?
That's us.
You could just name the leader. That's fine. Jeremiah's team. Where is Jeremiah? Good job, Jeremiah's team. 4th place. Wait, what? Was that the other way around?
Yeah.
Good job, Jeremiah's team. I was going to go for suspense, you know. The other way around.
Wait, we gotta go to the commercial break, then tell you.
Yeah. Okay, so now who got second? Hannah's team, 2nd place. Woohoo! All right, so guys, here's how it's gonna go. We're gonna go get in line for some donuts. But listen. Ears first, not feet. Feet first walk you right off the cliff edge. Future tense, guys. Future tense. Okay. So, first I would like Jeremiah to go up to the donut boxes in the kitchen, and I'd like him to call up his team one at a time by name and just pay some homage to the amazing runners and thinkers on his team. Go for it, Jeremiah. Shh. If he doesn't call your name, shush your mouth and sit still. If you know where it goes, go for it. I can't hear you, Jeremiah. Can they hear you? Rowan!
I just won. I have an Android phone.
Very nice. Good job, Anna.
There's two Annas.
Technically, Micah. Good job, technically, Micah. All right, and then second, is that your whole team?
Yeah, but I already ate a donut and I didn't
That's fine. You don't have to eat a donut. I'm not going to make you eat a donut. All right. Is that it for Jeremiah's team? Jeremiah, you good? Yep. Okay. Hannah, did you get second? Or did Shane get second? You got last. Oh, I got third? Okay. Hannah, you're second place. So, Hannah, go call your team up one at a time. Hannah, did you get your whole team? Who are you missing?
What about me?
Other Abby? Abby Stidham? Abby Lang? Other? No?
What do you mean?
I'm sorry. Stidham is the only name. There is no Lang.
Abby Lang.
There's other Langs. They're Langs because they've always been Langs.
Yes. Technically, we've always been.
Well, there has always been, but I've known them even longer.
Except that two of them aren't
So I win.
That's two. It's a shrinking herd.
that's good. The name Hannah are like helping you guys out. Making more things.
Wait.
Abby, go quicker. You're the
My most valuable players. I gotta call up Abby. Abby, I don't know your last name yet. Oh, you're Leduc too. I'm so dense. Okay, Abby. I'm sorry. All right, Abby. First on up. Go for it. Get yourself. Oh wait, did you already have a donut?
I already did.
You already had it. Just sit down. Abby's ahead of the curve. All right. Well, I didn't know that. Oh yeah, because you won the other game. That's fine. That's all fair. All's fair in love and war, and dating and friendship. Danielle, Gabriel, go get a donut. What the heck?
They were so bad.
Charlie. Oh yeah, and Judah, you get to go first. You ran with the most injuries out of anyone.
Daniel, can I trade it in for something?
You don't like
Oh, I was gonna ask that too, but I didn't know that you let me or something.
It's too late. You ate the donut. All right. It's not the same. She was owed a donut and didn't eat it. You ate a donut and then later were owed a donut.
Last time,
Debt, credit, debt. It's backwards. You just have to reach down really far. What, the donut? Yes. Okay. Danielle got her root beer. She's owed a root beer. Aiden is owed a root beer. Hannah, can you get him a root beer? And Shane's team gets a donut now. Shane's team. Well, was it for winning the other game?
No.
Did you just eat a donut because you thought you were supposed to eat a donut? No. All right, well then everybody else on Shane's team can go have a donut. If you were on Shane's team, go get a donut. If you haven't already had one. Good jobby job. Okay, did anybody want a donut and not get a donut? And not get a donut.
Have you ever wrote the word stolen money on your dollar?
Oh yeah, Aiden, so every team got a donut now.
Oh, I know.
Okay, did you want your donut?
and we have to
Did you give it away?
I gave it to him.
Cool beans, just making sure. Saw your hands not donated. Want to make sure your hands were not lacking in donatage. All right, ladies and gents, it is now time to find a seat and talk about dating.
How is it with you and Ella Grace? Jamie! James, how's it going with you and Ella Grace? Shut up. Charles Jr. I am Marge. You're so popular. You're almost friends. That's so good.
Hurry up, Aiden. There's going to be consequences if you go too slow. Get a real chair. Move the stool out of the circle.
Moses is probably the luckiest one here.
Would you like me to help you with moving the stool?
Yeah, because Moses had a couple friends.
All right, Aiden. I'm just going to say it one more time. You're not the only one. You're just the latest one. No making fun of anyone. Here, not here, or even, and I made this very clear from the start, people that don't exist. We're not making fun of anyone. Not people here, not people who aren't here, and not even imaginary people who don't exist. Okay, Daniel, find a chair in the rainbow, not in the rainbow. Be part of the rainbow.
Invisible. So Tom the Invisible. No, it's not Donna.
AirPod. Who collected the AirPod?
I did.
Oh, who has the AirPod? No, not who should, not who does. Nina, did you give back an AirPod?
What?
Can I have that?
No.
You gave it to Hannah? Okay.
No.
Do you still have it? Okay.
Give it to her. No.
She's wondering where it's at, so I'll let her know. Yeah, she's downstairs.
I don't know how to water jump.
I'm about to
Thank you. Tell Jared sorry for a lot of reasons.
You ruined my life.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
How about don't?
Great. Jared's awesome.
Exciting for everyone.
Good stories forever. I was mobbed by a bunch of children, and they hit me and beat me up, and they took my AirPods. She'll never forget it, and she'll probably never come back. Yes. Moses.
No donuts left. Can I get a soda?
There were no donuts left? I am amazed. You can get a soda.
Get a donut.
You literally gave your donut away.
He took it. No.
Wait, Aiden, you told me already that you gave it to him.
I didn't give it to him. He was just like, I'm just getting a donut.
What?
I was like, no,
There's 3 donuts left, and there's other 2 more people with him. I know there was another donut.
Moses. Wait a second. Wait. Moses, are you spinning me tails? Are you spinning tails, Moses? What is happening?
getting heads.
There's no donuts now. Okay, great. But were there donuts when you went up there the first time?
Don't fight like me.
Okay. I'm fine if he gets a soda. Whatever.
Wait,
All right, guys, listen up. We're going to be talking about some dating. I'm curious. I want to hear... No free soda. I'm curious to hear from you guys a few quick things about dating. Number one, what is dating?
oh, I know.
You get to define it for me. This is the middle school dictionary happening right now, first edition. Shh. This is probably like the 9th or 10th edition. Krista, what is dating?
Dating is where you have like a one-on-one time with a person and you usually go out to dinner.
Okay, one-on-one time with a person, you usually go out to dinner. Very nice definition. I like it. Okay. Anybody else? What is dating? If you're making noise and I didn't call on you, stop.
Calculations are correct.
Oh.
It's dating.
What? I'm sorry? Dating. Unique abilities. Okay, anybody else? Daniel!
Each other.
Okay. So wait, they're just automatically dating now if they love each other?
No.
Okay, so...
If they like each other.
Uh-huh. Okay.
What?
Boom. Magic. Okay. Hannah!
Commitment that you make where you commit to being someone's partner.
I feel like that's marriage.
Well, okay, I was about to ask, so then what would be the difference in that sense?
Well, with dating,
Is fake.
obviously the difference is you're not married.
Okay, but if we're defining dating as a commitment to love someone,
Dating.
then maybe you could just go a little further and define marriage and what is different or increases with marriage versus a commitment to love someone. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what would go further then? What's not dating? What's marriage only?
What?
You said dating is a commitment to love one another.
Stalking.
So let's say that's all dating is. What then is marriage on top of that? Like what has to happen extra for it to be marriage and not dating?
Marriage.
Does
Wedding.
that make sense?
Adam.
A wedding? Okay, so marriage then would be dating plus a cool party.
That's me.
Party where you like
Dick.
Hey, Aiden, this was a real question, real answer. Don't throw the jokes. Shh. If you're done, you're done. That's fine. You can stop. You don't have to. Okay. Rowan? Shh, shh, shh. I called on Rowan. All y'all shut your traps. Sorry. I can't hear Rowan. Daniel? Shh, shh.
Which is where you get to know someone before marriage.
You get to know them before marriage. Okay, good answer. Good answer. Jeremiah?
Beta testing.
Beta testing. All right, Moses.
Laura and swipe where the
Oh my goodness. Aiden, you got a real one?
no.
Dating is no.
Cheery too, and Austin.
Dating.
Deep.
Dating is like the watery ketchup at the top of the bottle.
Less deep. Judah. You can bring it up a notch. I feel your brain trying to find the joke, but it's got a real answer in there. Give me the real one.
There is an answer.
Yeah, the real one.
Dating
Is doctor.
is when Michael Myers.
Ah. All right, pause. Pool table, no sito, no chair, not thing to sit on. No more. Off. Sorry. And over here, Abby.
Dating is whenever you spend too much money on the other person, but you still love each other.
You know what? It might not be ideal, but it's accurate. It's accurate. Okay. Anna.
So when mom.
Daniel, unless you would like your whole joke to be for everyone's ears, you can keep it to yourself. Anna?
I love that. It's a commitment to romantically invest your time into another person.
A commitment to romantically invest your time into another person. Well thought out. Thank you, Anna. Okay. Yes, Ariana. Oh. Faith.
That can mean two different things. Wait, you skipped. That can.
Shh. Did you have your hand up? I wasn't doing an every single person must answer this time. I was just looking for hands. Yes?
In fact, dating is practicing for marriage.
Good answer. Okay. And I think we're going to call it there. I think we're going to move on. Shh. I'm not calling it because I think the rest are jokes. I'm just calling it for time. Sorry, boys. All right. So let's talk about dating a little bit. Should you date?
No.
Y'all just talked like crazy positive about it. Why did you suddenly go no? All right, so here we go. First question. If you want to know if you're ready to date, you first have to answer this question. Are you ready for the temptation?
No, girls are thick.
The temptation to go towards things that are only for marriage. And I don't just mean the thing that just made you smirk. I mean everything. He did. He smirked. So, there's a lot that comes along with marriage, and dating is a stepping stone in that direction. Now, it's not the only one. You can choose to go towards marriage in a lot of ways. Dating is not the only option. You guys may not realize it, but dating was invented under 100 years ago.
Will you marry me?
Oh, no, sorry. We've moved on in time, so it's like just over 100 years now. I've been teaching this for too long. So turn of the century is when dating was invented. You guys realize that they got married and had babies like before 100 years ago, right?
Wait, really?
Yeah. But they didn't date. They didn't date.
That's why I'm not.
Dating's rather new. So the stats on dating are only really recent. But the question is this: could you get married without dating? Could you have a good marriage without dating?
Yes.
Not as good as
So
without
do you have to call dating like love?
I'm just asking you to think about it. Just think about it for a second.
Yes.
Just think about it for a second, okay? Now, the reason I ask about temptation is really simple. If you guys have not gone down the road towards dating at all yet, I will explain it very simply. Your brain is the reason why drugs are addictive.
Oh, what?
Your brain is the reason why drugs are addictive. Your brain releases chemicals and flips switches when you experience different things. And it's the same reason why people get addicted to alcohol, the same reason why they get addicted to marijuana, the same reason they get addicted to heroin is the same reason you get addicted to romance. And this is the funny thing about that. There's nothing wrong with that when you're doing it God's way. God invented your brain. So he didn't just stick a bunch of addictive little levers in there by accident. He's like, oh no, what have I done? No, God put those in there, and he put them in there for marriage. That's the whole reason he stuck them in there. So that when you start spending real intimate time with your spouse, you literally get addicted to being with them. You love it. It lights you up. It's the thing you're thinking about when you're not doing it. You're just like, I want to go back to being with them. You're at work. You're like, I want to go home. You're running out to the store. I want to go home. I want to be with my spouse. There's something naturally and good kind of addictive about that. Now, here's the point. The way that addiction works is roughly the same no matter what it is. So no matter what it is you get addicted to, a little bit is all it takes to start. Just a little bit. And then you want a little bit more. And then you want a little bit more. And then you want a little bit more. So the problem is, if you get yourself addicted to something you shouldn't have, you still want it. That's the issue. So you got to be careful to only allow yourself to be addicted to the things that are good for you. We call it a good habit. There are good habits. You guys ever put in a shot in a basketball game that like tipped the balance of the game and you knew from this point on I'm going to win? My team is going to win. How good did that feel when you put that shot in? You're just like, oh, this is it. We're winning now.
Purposely.
Very few times do you put in like the winning shot or the game-changing shot and you're like, yep, I'm done with basketball.
Charlie, I score.
Don't ever need to do that again.
Just leave your head.
You'll notice that most basketball stars that quit do not quit after their first win.
Hey.
They're not like, yep, that was it. I'm good. Peace out. I'm never playing this sport again. They wait until they're old and their body's like, please, please stop. I'm dying. Because they love the game. They love it and they just keep doing it. There are things that are healthy to just give yourself into. However, there are things you should not give yourself into. And there are things that are good that you can give yourself into and it steals the rest of your life away. There are good things you can get addicted to. You can get addicted to eating healthy and working out.
What? Yeah,
And you can get addicted to it in a way where like it keeps you healthy and that's fine. And you can get addicted to it in a way where like that's all you talk about. That's all you think about. That's all you do. Anytime anyone's around you, it's like, you really shouldn't be eating that. That's terrible for you. It changes who you are. So same applies with dating. If dating becomes your whole life, you've gone too far. You weren't ready for the temptation. If it becomes all you talk about, you're away from them and you're just like, my girlfriend, I want to be with her. Your friends are going to look at you like you're nuts. It's not going to be fun to be around you anymore. The temptation will become too strong. So you have to be ready for that. If you're not ready for that, you're not ready to date. Okay? Likewise, one kiss leads to two. Two kisses leads to four. You thought I was going to say three. Yeah. 4 kisses leads to I lost track of time. Romance is addictive. If you let a little in, you are going to want more of it. Now, you can stop. Don't let me lead you astray. You could stop, okay? But you're going to want more. And the question is, are you ready for that? Are you ready to be able to say, you know what? This is the line in the sand. This is where I want my relationship to be right now. I'm not ready for marriage. I'm not ready for a baby. I'm not ready for any of this stuff.
I want one child.
This is where I'm going to stop.
You don't have
If you're not ready to set that kind of limit, you're not ready for dating. So I have here's my quick little test. Quick little test. Has anybody here ever gone trick-or-treating? Okay, cool.
Trick-or-treating. You're weird.
Have you guys ever said,
Trick-or-treat.
Mom, can I have one piece of candy?
And then she says no.
And she's like, yeah, you can have one piece of candy.
She says no.
And then you like eat the one piece of candy. You're like, I want another piece of candy. Anyone here ever snuck candy even though you weren't supposed to have candy? You're not ready to date. If you can't handle a piece of candy, you're not ready to date.
Oh, I don't know how to rate.
Not even ready to date. Okay. So are you ready for... Are you ready for romance? Now, romance... If you guys got a real question, a real comment, please raise your hand. I'd love to hear it. If you have a joke or a little song or something, then just shut your mouth.
Why did that cross the road?
Thank you. Judah, what's your question or comment?
Romance is awkward.
It is, actually.
Oh.
Good job. It's incredibly awkward.
Did you find it?
You know what's interesting about the Bible? Can you stop, Daniel? It's really distracting. You need one chair. The one that's the one you're sitting in. The other chair should just never exist. There's no more chair.
That's a cool thing.
Cool beans. Yeah, just let that fall over. It's great. Okay. Do you guys know what the Bible says about romance?
No.
It's illegal and you shouldn't do it. Yeah.
No, it doesn't say that. Do you know what the Bible says about romance?
That Romans invented.
Romans? That's a good one. I like that.
Are you ready?
Romance. Okay. Anybody else? Does anybody know what the Bible says about romance?
Never stick it till you lick.
Aiden, I realize that the need for attention is strong with you. It's strong with a lot of us, but we're just going to try and use that self-control we're actually talking about right now.
Go sit in the corner.
Aiden, you can look at the group again, but you're probably going to have to apologize.
Apologize at once.
Yeah, apologize.
Hey, Moses, you don't need to follow suit with that one. No. All right. The Bible actually says romance is really good.
Ew.
Yes,
Romance. No. But listen, hear me out. The Bible says that romance is something that God created. He intended for it to happen. He wants romance in humans' lives. But the Bible always mentions romance in a positive context inside of marriage. There is no instances in the Bible where romance is mentioned positively outside of marriage. So remember how I said dating was only invented like 100 or so years ago? In the Bible, romance was something for marriage. And the Bible acknowledges that the desire for romance usually comes before marriage. But the way that it talks about romance is that you would desire romance, it would be a good thing, and then you would get married, and then
My bad.
then you would allow romance to flourish. You would allow romance to take hold. Yes.
It's almost like a romance sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't make a sandwich until you have 2 slices of bread. Otherwise, you're just going to get a messy sandwich.
Unless you don't put the mayonnaise.
Yeah, Jeremiah. It's a California invention right there, if I've ever heard one. Yes, Abby. Shh. Abby has a real question with a real hand up. The rest of you guys, shush. Sorry, Abby.
Why would people want
That's a good question.
Which are the people?
I didn't say it was gross. I said it was messy.
What?
Messy.
What?
Yeah, okay. So you guys said something earlier because I asked you guys what dating was, and you guys said that it was practice for marriage, or it was like marriage, but it was missing a few things. And you talked about dating and marriage as if they were really, really similar, or maybe one automatically leads to the other. Well, I have a question for you. How many people do you think you should date before you get married? Just hold up your fingers. Just hold up your fingers.
One at a time.
How many people should you date before you get married?
Well, the 5th hour.
Don't give me the answer that you think I want. Give me the answer that you think is right. Give me your opinion. Okay. So here's my question. Let's say, because some of you guys are saying 1, some of you guys are saying 0, some of you guys are saying like really big numbers, right? Some of you guys are saying 2. Let's say that the big number was true for a second. Let's just pretend that the correct answer, according to God, according to the Bible, is like a... That can be faith's opinion. That's fine.
How's their point?
Let's pretend that the right answer, according to God in the Bible, is a big number. Okay, for just a second, pretend with me that the Bible says you should date all the people and then pick one to marry.
Everyone.
If Charlie, it's a pretend. We're not saying you should do it. We're pretending for a minute. If dating then was practice for something, what would it be practice for?
Marriage, I guess.
Would it? Because is that what you do when you get married, Charlie? You get married and then you get married again and then you get married again and then you get married again and then you get married again?
Cheating on someone.
So yeah, that's not a good practice for marriage, is it? If you're really gonna like treat dating as if it's practice for marriage, then it shouldn't be try on every shoe, find the one that fits. Because that's not what marriage is. That's not what marriage is. So if dating is supposed to get you ready for marriage, then what would dating look like?
No, because you're trying to find the right person. That's why you're doing so many times.
Okay, so here's my question, James. Here's my question. When you've been taught to do something, so let's say you learn to wrestle, or you learn to play basketball, right? You learn to do a thing, okay? Do they have you practice the way it won't be during a game? Or do they have you practice the way it will be during a game? The way it will be. Okay, so if you're gonna practice marriage, if that's right, let's just say that that's right, then you should practice the way marriage will actually be.
Love times 2 equals 0.
Interesting. Okay, so we know it shouldn't be try on all the shoes, or else we have to redefine marriage and dating and say, then dating isn't practice? Dating is something else? It's one of these two. Either dating can't be try everyone, or dating can't be practice for marriage. It doesn't make any sense to have both. You gotta pick one. What else did we talk about with dating? You guys also said that dating is essentially just what you do when you love someone. That's just what you do. It's just automatic. It's what happens. Well, like I said, 100 plus years ago, that's not how things happen. Do you guys want to know what happened just before dating was invented? Do you guys want to hear the story of how boy meets girl, boy marries girl, like what happened in between? What was in between boy meets girl, boy marries girl? Okay, so let's go back in time. Shh. Back to turn of the century time. Okay, this is like right before World War I. Yeah, Jeremiah.
Isn't it usually like a strange man in a blue box shows up? Somehow
Boy meets girl.
they're the only two that survive the alien attack.
Something like that, yeah. Okay, so here's how it would go. Boy meets girl, boy likes girl, or girl meets boy, girl likes boy, whatever happens, okay?
Like boys.
Now, from this point on, shh, not your turn.
Get it right.
The person who has an interest in the other person would go to the other person's parents
Say, I want
and would say,
to know each word, but
I'd like to court them. Court was the word back then. Now, a little bit before that, you go a little further back in time, and it was actually, you see a person, you like the person, you actually go to your parents, and you say, hey, mom, dad, I found a person I like. You should go talk to their parents. And then your parents would go talk to their parents, and they would talk. And they would basically find out for you, minus embarrassment, because it wasn't like you on the schoolyard having to go face them. It wasn't you in front of all your friends having to go face them. It was a private conversation between adults. And they got to find out for you, do they like you back?
My son's rich.
Or maybe you didn't know it and they're already courting someone and you didn't know it. So like, sorry, they're taken, they're spoken for, you can't. Okay, so that's all gets sorted out. And then they come back and they tell you. Now this might take days. You never know when you'll get to actually see someone back then. They didn't even have telephones for some of this time. They come back and they say, yeah, they're interested in courting you. So now here's what courtship looks like, okay? You ready to go out on a date? You ready to go out courting? Here's what you do. Person comes over to your house.
My son is tall. My son
Knocks on the door. Parents welcome them in.
thick.
And then, Aiden, do you need a timeout?
Yes.
I feel like you're really trying for attention, man. I think you just need to go out of the room with Jeremiah and have a talk. Literally whatever is bothering you. Or whatever Jeremiah sees fit.
I know what bothering you.
Go for it, Aiden. I love you, man. You've been interjecting things that are hugely distracting. No. Charlie, you're not helping. You're making it worse.
yeah, Charlie.
Charlie.
Bad Charlie.
Jeremiah and Aiden, thank you. Go have a talk. I love you, man.
Okay.
You don't need to be doing this.
That was very inspiring.
I'm glad. You and Jeremiah.
Oh, can I go?
All right.
Are you Jeremiah? I need to.
Go, Aiden, go.
Oh wait, we're leaving.
Yeah, the room.
Can I come?
No, just Aiden and Jeremiah for a minute. Thank you.
I want to come.
So then you would literally hang out in your parents' house with your parents there. And like that was your date. And then like maybe next week you would go to their house and their parents would hang out with you. And that was the date. And if you ever wanted to go out to a restaurant, which is actually pretty dang rare back then, it was not a common, frequent thing. If you went out to a restaurant, guess who's coming with you?
Parents.
Your parents.
Can I just have some alone?
The idea was that
You can.
if you can't fathom being tempted to like make out with a person in front of your parents, then you can't make out with a person. That was the theory, and it pretty much worked. And then you'd get married, and then romance started after. So before marriage, there was this desire for romance, and then once you were married,
I know, but if you're
there was romance.
not getting able to,
I'm sorry, James. I got news for you. Romance is not something you do wrong. It's just something that happens because you like them.
Ew.
So there's not a reason to try it out in advance. In fact, let me go further than that. And I'll give you some stats. You guys ready for some? Oh, I got a verse first. We'll get to stats later. My bad. Stats later. First verse. 1 Peter 2, 11 through 12. Peter's pretty cool. He has a lot of advice about marriage. Dear friends, I warn you as temporary residents and foreigners. Now, the reason he says this, Daniel, shh, Hannah, Rowan, shh, 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 shh. Talking about a Bible verse. Read the verse with me. Temporary residents and foreigners. He's talking about how this life is not your permanent life. Eventually, we're all going to be in heaven together. We put our faith in Jesus Christ. We're going to end up in heaven. What you do in this life is important, but it should never become more important than the next life. It should never become more important than your life in the new heaven and the new earth. So he says, right now, you guys, me, humans, you guys are temporary residents and foreigners. To keep away from worldly desires that wage war against your very souls. Be careful to live properly among your unbelieving neighbors. Then, even if they accuse you of doing wrong, they will see your honorable behavior, and they will give honor to God when he judges the world. Now, this doesn't just apply to dating. This applies to everything. But dating, too. Dating's part of the everything. The idea here is that you would live an example with your life. Your life would be an example. So the people around you would think so highly of you, James, that even if they accused you, someone else accused you, they would have to go, oh, that can't be true. Because, I mean, it's James. The idea is that you would live such a crazy high example that you could fend off false accusations just by your reputation alone.
Well, he's James, so.
I mean, come on. Now, he's saying this about everything, but I would say, I would say that everything includes dating. So we should live our dating life. Our romance should be so good, so pure, so godly, that if anyone ever accused of anything, it would just be like, but it's them. All right. So, question is, should dating couples try out things to see if they would like to be married? Should there be things you're just seeing if it's going to work once you're married? Does that make sense? Like, is dating really a time to try things out if they're things for marriage?
No.
Yeah, Krista.
So for like the third bubble thing in the previous one.
Go back to that, yeah.
So the third one, yes, I am ready for marriage.
Ready for marriage. Krista's the only one in the room. She's the only one who's ready for marriage.
So I'm ready to date, but I'm not ready to marry.
James, I would suggest, James, if you're not ready for marriage, you can't be ready to date.
Wait, when you
Follow my logic on this. If you went to the car lot right now and you had 50 grand in your hand and you walked up to the guy who sells cars and you're like, I want to buy a car, do you know what he would ask?
What kind of car?
No, guys. It's James. He would say, do you even have a driver's license? That's what he would say. He wouldn't care you have 50 grand in your hand. I mean, he might still sell you the car, but he would ask you, who's it for? Are you getting it towed off the lot? Because you can't drive.
Yes, yeah, you can actually own a car without a license.
Obviously you can, but he's going to wonder. So here's my point. If you're not ready to get married and you start dating, what are you asking for exactly?
Dang.
Thick.
Who are you coming to pick up? Oh, cool. Okay. Ariana, you have your dad here. Can I get a leader to go down with Ariana? Hannah, can you take her down?
Your dad can go.
Sweet. I got Ariana and leader coming down right now. Thank you. Sweet. Okay, and then Hannah, I texted him her code because he dropped her off. So he'll have it on his phone. Cool beans. All right. So if you're not ready to get married and you start dating, you're basically saying to the person who you're going to date, like, hey, can we just pretend that we're going to get married even though we're not? And then break up later? That'd be fun.
Wait, how does the car affect it?
Well, if you're not ready to get married, you're not ready to drive the car.
You're not ready.
So if you can't get a license yet, what are you doing trying to buy the car? You're going to have to leave that car at home, tempting you to drive it, like, for years.
Someone else.
And not drive it. Not drive it and not drive it. And then eventually, finally you will. Or you could just save your money and buy a car when you're ready to drive it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And then it wouldn't have sat there for 3 years.
Before you have
It was a hypothetical, Charlie. Hypothetically, he had 50 grand in his hand.
Hannah,
All right.
how do you have?
Hannah, what was your question?
You said that
You would have to get a job.
If you're 16, you're probably working
ready
at
to
like
date.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
But usually,
can say that.
isn't like dating for like
McDonald's
practice for
actually
marriage
pays
to
good
get you ready
Yeah,
for
that's
marriage?
What part of marriage should you practice is the next thing we're moving to. Does that make sense? What part of marriage, what's real inside of marriage that's good that you should be practicing before you're married? What is on that list?
California is 12.
And I would submit
I'll look at a brand.
I don't think.
nothing.
It was 12 they upped it.
There's nothing.
Yeah,
They upped.
There's lots of things you could practice for marriage's sake, but they're not things that are exclusive to marriage. They're not even things that are romantic.
Wait, they upped it.
Yeah.
That's my supposition. That's my position. All right, Abby's question.
So dating is seeing.
But, and this is why we did friendship first,
But she
before this. What couldn't you find out about that as a friend with no romance
Minimum wage in California is
that you would have to date them to find out?
That's why I don't pay my people.
Yeah, that's all. I think you perfectly understood it. Well done. Okay, cool. All right, a quick stat.
Come on, Charlie.
So should dating couples try out things to see if they would like to be married? Well, just outside the Bible. Pause the Bible for a minute. Pause God's opinion for a moment. Just look at real world what actually happens. So this is just in the U.S. Just in the U.S. People who practice romance now. Oh, this is wrong. Scratch that. Sorry, that's wrong.
What's
That's the next slide. My bad. Forget that one. Read everything else. It's all true.
sorry?
So, these are multiplicative stats. This is divorce rate in the first 5 years. If this is the average, this is trying one person before you got married. This is trying 2 people before you got married. The divorce rate goes up more than double. It kind of dips back down again and then it comes back up again. But look, this is the zero. This is the no partners before marriage.
Yep, that's his second.
And then this is everything else.
Does
Does that make sense? So like the science says, the stats say this is totally separate from Christianity, totally separate from the Bible. This is just what happens in this country.
Wait, sex?
Yeah. Okay, now next one. This is actually a really common thing now.
Oh my.
Just living together. That's the word cohabiting. Just living together. So this side right here, this is what people answered back if they were married
Showtime.
versus what people answered back if they were just living together. Okay?
What?
So
Like,
it's any other answer besides the 2 answers. So there's very well, fairly well, and then all the other answers were so minimal, so few, they lumped them all together. So everything from bad, kind of bad, totally neutral, I don't want to answer, those are all so few answers in the poll, they just lumped it all into other. It's just they don't even count which one was which one. Okay, so of the married couples in this country, all the way up here, over half said their relationship was going very well. Very well. And then right here, right around a third said fairly well. Then you get over to just living together. So this is people dating who then move in together to see. They're practicing marriage.
oh,
They're practicing. They're trying it out. And their answer was very well, down here around 40%. And then fairly well was actually most of them. And then other was a much bigger category. So remember, this includes neutral, bad, and very bad. Goes up. And that's actually really concerning to me because this category over here is 12%. This is 3 or 5. I know it's an odd number.
I'm pretty sure that.
So it's either way, it's at least double was in the bad status. That's really sad. Now again, this is not just Christians. This is not people of any particular kind, not any particular age. This is like all relationships. They're all lumped in on this one. Yeah.
Is it Asian?
Anyone who lives in the U.S. This is a U.S. poll, just the United States. So yeah, Asian people living in the U.S. Yes, but
She just came in, so she doesn't know any of what.
That's so sad.
who's she?
Faith.
Oh, hi Faith.
Yeah.
We're doing stats.
And then this just comes.
Yeah. So we were talking about.
Don't lean back in this chair.
Yeah. That one will kill you. I will use it against a wall so I don't die. That is the main reason it's against that wall at all times. It used to be in my office. It's not now. All right, so we were doing some stats, Faith, because you guys were talking about dating being practice. So this is one of the practice stats. People who move in together as they're dating, just to see if they like living together, end up having worse relationships than people who got married before they moved in together.
Yep, I believe.
Crazy stuff. Okay.
Cool beans.
So here we go. Ephesians 5:3. Ephesians, really good book on romance advice. Chapter 2, chapter 5, good stuff in there. This is Ephesians 5:3. Let there be no sexual immorality, impurity, or greed among you. Such sins have no place among God's people. When you start looking into the polls about people who move in together to see, should we get married? You find out that the number one reasons they moved in together, and the number 2 reason to move in together, and the number 3 reason to move in together, and the number 4 reason to move in together, and the number 5 reason to move in together were selfish. All 5 reasons on the top 5. Reasons like it was good for our finances. Reasons like I don't think I'm ready to commit to this person for the rest of my life. I'm not sure if they're the one. Does that sound like a reason to move forward in a relationship?
What?
A good reason.
Nope.
Be like, oh,
You guys actually know what the number one indicator of marriage lasting versus marriage divorce?
What?
The number one indicator.
Divorce.
The number one indicator of divorce can't be divorce. Oh, well, then that's actually a different stat. Actually, no, that is true. That's a different stat. No, the number one indicator was the couple talked about and planned out their finances before they got married. That was it. That was the number one indicator. Either finances didn't get talked about, didn't get planned about, they just got married no matter what their finances were, or they planned it out, they talked about it. Isn't that weird?
So which one?
This carries over into all the other main contributors to divorce, and it is talking about things that will be problems later. It's the main thing. And again, do you have to be dating to talk about things?
Yeah. No.
yes. Yes. No, you do not.
I mean, you still could, right? You still could talk about things when you're dating, but like, you could talk about them before you're dating. Isn't that weird?
No.
Okay, now. Should you just wait then and never date and just wait for God to like bring the person to you, and one day you're just sitting there and all of a sudden there's like a girl, just future girlfriend, she just like lands on you, flattens you to the ground. Oh, what was that? I'm your perfect girlfriend. Is that what you should do then?
It's like Gingy's girlfriend. Yes, Gingy.
Okay, just no. No. I'm sorry to say, but your prayer life going through junior high and high school should not turn into, God, I just want a girlfriend. God, I just want a boyfriend. Sorry, that was my voice in junior high.
I don't want a boyfriend.
It might not be yours, but it was mine.
What if I don't want a
Actually, that's not true. That was my voice for like 4 days. I went from voice crack to Barry White in like the week I was at junior high camp. That was it. I got home from junior high camp and I immediately had this voice. All right. So no, don't do that. Don't put it all on God and say, God, it's up to you. If you don't bring me that perfect someone.
I guess I'll never have.
No, you just get angry at God. That's the fist shaking. Don't do that. Don't do that. The whole idea that you would have to sit around wait for the perfect someone, it kind of implies something. It implies that there's nothing you could do with your life right now.
No.
And that's just dumb. That's hogwash. All your days are not just one big waiting game for that perfect person to walk into your life, and then your real life starts when the perfect person shows up. That's not how it works. Not how it works. So stop waiting. Do something now. Do something now. We're gonna play one more game. We have one more thing to talk about before we leave. And what we're going to talk about at the end of tonight is actually not dating, it's singleness.
Yeah.
It's the state most of you find yourselves in right now. But here's the deal.
Single forever. I'm not
Being single, according to Paul, who wrote most of the Bible, can be a superpower. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But I want you guys to understand that God's plans for you, God's plans for you start right now. They've already begun. And they continue on into the future, whether you get married in 10 years, 20 years, or at all. Maybe you never get married. That's fine. As long as you're walking down God's path, it doesn't matter if or when you get married. My sister has been serving God like crazy her whole life, and she only just got married. She's 2 years older than me. She's in her 30s. And you know what? That's fine.
for her.
There's nothing truly exceptional about that, except that she's been doing a really good job serving God this whole time. That's the part that's exceptional. But married people can serve God too. And so in the end, Paul's conclusion is, kind of doesn't matter. As long as you're doing what God says, kind of doesn't matter. Yeah, Krista.
So that backslide about like I should wait to get, should I wait for God to bring me a boyfriend / girlfriend?
Yep.
I thought that once, I was like, should I wait? Then I just say no, yes, sometimes.
So I would say if this is the part that concerns you, then the answer is pretty simple. Don't put your focus into it where you spend a bunch of time searching. Don't become the hunter of boyfriends. Okay? And on the other hand, don't try to avoid what God leads you to.
I don't want a boyfriend.
I like what Lexi said. You guys know Lexi? She's our worship leader on Sundays.
Yeah, I have a
Lexi has like my favorite saying on this. I repeat it every year. Lexi says, you should serve God and walk down that path that he's leading you on. And as you walk down that path, someday you might look to your left or right and notice there's someone keeping pace with you.
Wait.
And they're walking the same path towards God. Then you found your one. But it's an if. It's an if. But if you just go search for people, you won't make any progress down that path. You'll be walking in circles looking for someone. All right. Well, let's go.
Good.
Okay, you have a good.
Please let me say the good.
Good. Go.
All right. I have a quote that I heard that I just thought was very inspirational. And it's not supposed to be funny, I swear. I thought it was very inspirational. In fact, someone in this room said it.
Okay.
The quote that I heard, which actually almost made me cry, was, when I grow up, I want to be one of the people that make money. Me?
It's a good quote. Okay. Let's read Ephesians 2:10. Shh. Let's read Ephesians 2:10. It says, "For we are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew in Christ Jesus, so we can do the good things he planned for us long ago." Living out a Christian life is you living out the plan God's put in front of you. And it includes all kinds of things. God's plan for you includes whatever marriage is in your future. His plan is a great plan. So if it's got marriage in it, it's going to be great. But follow his plan. That's first and foremost. If you follow his plan, the timing works itself out. The person works itself out. All of that works itself out. But you've got to stay following after God. All right, that's it. Let's play a game.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Is so your parents told you like someone made someone else, like everybody. So
I internationally quoted this on the Google.
No.
half of my foot heels.
All right, guys, if you need to stretch your legs, now's your chance. Get up, walk around, get a drink. Grab a slice of pizza if you're hungry.
Sorry,
I'm gonna buy myself some and then bring them to school like this. The only pizza left is
just like you. I'm just like
and then walk on like still in the
no.
All right, guys, this was a cell phone game. Get into your cell phone teams.
Hey, Charlie, where are you? Here.
I need to be tall.
No,
All right, guys, grab a cell phone, make a team. We need as many teams as we can get.
I am team captain. Join my team to be a liquor. Join my team and get V-Bucks. Get V-Bucks. Get free V-Bucks if you join my team.
All right, right, guys, take your chairs with you so you're not standing and meandering. Make sure you can go sit down with your team.
Have you learned nothing from the pizza?
All right, guys, send me your new team names as you make your teams. You should have 5 or 6 people on your team. 5 or 6. Jeremiah, help corral. Let's get our teams in chairs, sitting down together. Bring your chairs over to your cell phone. Cell phone owners, as you so choose, you can let other people type in different rounds. I trust you to trust the right person. I'm sorry, Charlie. No, I'll just explain the game for 5 minutes. It'll be good. It'll be good. All right, I've got a team called the Elephants. You guys got to cash in your team names now. All right. Caleb, could you help me out and put away that folding chair? We don't need that. We got plenty of chairs. Guess what? Did you text it? Text it. All right, guys, find your teams. Leaders, spread out to the teams. Help them to remain cohesive. The less cohesive a team, the more they need an adult there to whip them into shape. Tonight's next and last game is No Harm, No Vowel. In this game, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to put in the correct answer, and then I will give you a hint. And then I will give you 30 seconds with that hint to give the correct answer, and then I will give you a second hint. And then I will give you 30 seconds to put in the correct answer. In total, you will get 90 seconds to answer correctly. If you do not... Shh. Close your mouth if you're not a leader.
But I do.
If you do not answer correctly, you will get 0 points. You can guess more than once. Aiden, Charlie, hands to yourselves. Charlie, hands. You can ask him, don't grab him. Aiden, pick a team. Don't be alone and don't play with the balloon.
Okay, Mike will be on my team. Okay, now.
I didn't say make a team, I said pick a team. Teams have to have cell phones. Yes, Caleb, what's up? You could grab people if you wanted to.
You should interview all of us. Be on our team.
This is Team Bob.
Makes sense. I was Bob the Cuneo. It's because Elijah was taller. All right, guys. What's going to happen is this.
The quoters.
Boys, keep in mind I have the right to rename you.
6.5, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm going to show you a word, but I'm going to show you it with all of its vowels removed. If you get it like that, you put in the right answer like that, I give you 3 points. If it takes a clue, you get 2 points. If it takes 2 clues, you get 1 point. So here's a sample of a word minus vowels. What is that word?
Cheeseburger!
Good, but in the real game, you would text me cheeseburger and not shout it, because then all the other teams know the answer, right? And then if you don't get it, if you don't guess cheeseburger, 30 seconds later, I'm going to go to this. There's your first clue. It gives you like a category, okay? And if you still don't get it for 30 seconds, then I'm going to give you this, where all of the vowels have been replaced by asterisks so you can see where the vowels go. And if you still don't get it, then you get nothing. You get 0. Okay, you guys ready? If you are on a team, go sit with your team captain holding the phone. Do not dance in front of the screen. Thank you very much. All right, you guys ready? I think we're going to do candy tosses for correct, like, winner person. We'll just say 3 points, you get candy or something like that. I don't think we have time to tally points at the end. All right, you guys ready? Here we go. Real one. Don't say it out loud. It's tempting. It's tempting.
This is so easy, Mr. Teacher, sir.
Bro, Aiden's my second favorite guy.
Alrighty. Time is up. We're gonna go to the clue. And I've got 3 answers. We're going to the clue. We got 4 answers. Clue.
He's not a musician.
I got 4 answers, so there must be 4. Oh wait, you guys all got it then. There's only 4. Okay, good job. You guys all got it on the first round. Well done. That's 3 points for everyone. It was Justin Timberlake.
We got it.
So in first place was Jeremiah by himself.
Did it first.
That's not true. I have the recipient's phone. You can't know who texted it first. If you think about it, how could you know that? How could you know that? Then Danielle's team got it second. After that was Charlie's team. Yeah. I'm renaming you guys. Here's your name. You ready? Here's your name.
What happened?
Can we be the Girl Scouts? We are the Girl Scouts.
Can you rename us the Girl Scouts?
You guys are the Trundling Buffalo.
What? No,
Not you guys, them.
we want to be the Girl Scouts.
It's too late. I told you if you pick a bad name, I'm renaming you. Trundling Buffalo. All right. Good job, Abby's team. You got it. You were just in last place. Okay. I'm just gonna throw that there. Throw that there.
Oh, sweet.
Ah. And then this team. And then this team. All right, all of you diving for candy are about to get disqualified. I told you guys, sit with your team. I'm going to throw candy at you. I didn't say go dive in front of other teams when I throw candy at them. Clearly different things. All right, your next word. Number 2. Why do you guys shout the answer? I'm so puzzled. Why? Do you have a team? Go be on their team.
Yeah, go be on their team, Jim.
Candy over
We're on our team. Boom, we're done.
All right, we're moving on to the clue.
Wait, they didn't give me a single piece of candy.
Oh, I got all 4. Well done.
Stole my candy.
Danielle's team auto-corrected their already corrected their spelling. Yes.
That's because you threw it to your and they took off.
If your bum ain't in a chair, I'm not gonna throw candy at your team. Simple? Okay. Faith, look at me. Don't keep Faith.
Eyeballs.
Right here. Don't keep complaining over after the point where you already lodged like a formal complaint. Just let it die and wait for more candy to get thrown, okay? Just be done. Just be done. All right, let's see. I think I'm gonna have to just make it first place because you guys are getting it like every time, and maybe Jeremiah will only get a prize every other time because I feel like he might just win every time. Charlie, sit down. You get nothing. You get negative. You got up again. You're not even gonna get jack squat when you guys win. Come on. Okay, next word. Number 3. That's correct.
Don't say it out loud.
How are you guys incapable of shouting the answer? I don't understand. The correct answer came fastest from the Trundling Buffalo. But they're getting nothing this time. From the diving last time. No. Listen, you didn't dive last time and lose last time. You lost last time because you lost. This time you're losing because you dived last time. Dove. It's true. It's absolutely true. Just like how last time other teams didn't get candy because you dived and took their candy away.
I'm so fast at typing.
I watched people dive. I'm not waiting for someone to tell me they dove. That'd just be ridiculous.
Lay in the box.
Okay.
I don't know. Profession? What the heck is a profession?
It's a professional thing.
Enough!
Oh, how is this profession? I don't like Bitcoin can tech. A Bitcoin.
It's not a Bitcoin.
I know, it says profession.
Bitcoin.
CNN.
10.
What?
9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. All right, only Jeremiah got it. Beautician! All right, raise your hand if you know what a beautician is.
Makeup.
Okay, Faith knows. Okay, good job. Some hands. Yay, beauticians exist. All right, ready? Here we go. He literally has seen none of these slides. All right, you guys ready?
Oh, Tilly's. No, there's not two L's, you dumb.
It's doing doesn't matter.
Yes, time.
Stop shouting the answers. Are you serious?
I literally have to just walk back in the microphone.
There's not T-I-L-L-Y. There's not two L's.
It doesn't matter. We still get it, guys.
S is
Guys, we will still get it.
And don't How about you shut up, people? Not you. Not you. Just mostly you.
Is it just me or is Aiden here?
None of you guys got it? No, I just said this.
No.
That's Walmart.
Okay, fine, Jeremiah got it, but I was just calling it.
Of course.
You should be allowed to play this
You
game.
guys can keep guessing. You don't just get to guess once. You can guess an infinite number of times.
We got it. Let's go. Big
Wait, what is it? Oh! It's Kentucky. It's Kentucky.
Abby's team was so close, but Danielle's team got it.
It feels.
All right, Jeremiah, you're in charge of throwing candies.
Oh, we got it? That's what I got. Was
Aiden, you gotta give it back, man. You're penalized again.
We have some reason.
Okay, no more diving, idiot.
You didn't know it.
You need one. You didn't have one.
Oh, it's JoJo Siwa. What? It's Thunder Burstman.
Thunder butt firm.
This is a good one.
Thunder butt firm.
Oh, it will autocorrect if you just type that in.
I don't have autocorrect.
Eight, 7, 6,
Birch.
5,
Auto.
4.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah, team got it.
Yeah.
What?
Thank you. Thank you.
What is it? It's Tom.
You.
Probably.
I called it.
Hold on, you guys got it?
They got it. No way. Do you know the Ford parents?
Because they're dead Thunder Band.
They love the classic. No.
It's just
Danny.
Okay, high fives.
That was high five.
what the heck was the movie called? I thought it was Bristol. Oh my gosh. The land before. This is too hard for children. Don't watch these stuff shows. What is that?
Oh, yeah.
I think James gave the right answer.
Amazing. Free team.
I knew it. I got it right. I'm cool.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have money though.
A CDR, a CRD, a Tutti Booty. What? I know. It rhymes. What?
Good job.
Already seen it. I know this because I like one of these bands.
Did we sing the song? Should we sing the song?
No.
Good job. Wait. Danielle, sing that first.
Do we not get candy though? We got it.
Are you guys ready?
Okay, what about Charlie? It's like not even fair. Yeah, this is shit.
Number 7.
Oh, girl is Lily. It's girl power. Don't wait. So they can't type. It's grudge licking. What is
Whose phone is this?
Charlie's.
It's girls love.
Don't ask.
Charlie, if you're ashamed of it, you should change it.
No. I don't know why he's concerned by it. It's just a thing that honestly. Girl in the middle. Is it Goku's Super
What are you
Saiyan?
doing?
20 million. Look at the girl in the middle.
I was gonna.
All right, guys, 30 seconds up. You got it.
I was gonna make him non.
B is not a vowel.
It's not garlic. What's the L? What's the L? It's garlic, you dumb.
There's two relish.
You do not want to look at my emojis.
Okay.
Daniel's team, how are you doing?
No, we're not. We're not looking.
Go sit down. Go sit down.
They shouldn't be allowed to sit there.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Technically,
Are you guys ready? Number 8.
It's Flint Lockwood's invention. Shut up.
Generation.
It's Flint Lockwood. Shut it. Flint Lockwood's creation. No, Diamond, get back in. Flint Schmidt.
Why are you giving Abby all the candy?
Who's got Team Coma on their phones?
Me!
Charlie, you got it! Go! Did they give it back?
Candy! Yes, I did!
Yay.
I'll let them have it this time.
Okay.
Is it the Fast and Furious?
You're eating.
Aiden, can I please have it?
No, I didn't.
He threw it to me.
Have a seat. Have a seat. I'll give you a handicap.
He threw it to me, bro.
Aiden, Charlie, don't take the phone. Guys, Charlie, down like Captain Charlie, down.
Last round.
You'll get paid. Raw color. Wait, what? Broccoli.
Broccoli.
That too.
Broccoli.
They're the same thing. Hey, broccoli.
You're eating one as you took it.
No, it's not broccoli.
Give me it.
Charlie, it's broccoli.
No, yeah, give me it. They already have the answer. Give me it.
Not broccoli.
He threw it to me. Did you throw that to me or not?
You got it. Daniel,
Blood tape.
you got it.
No tape. Give me it.
It's not
Give us the good one.
He's not doing much. It's mainly me and Daniel.
I love your head. We just didn't
You like dumped it on my head and then I didn't see it.
Bro, this right
I
military.
love this subject. It's my favorite subject.
All right, guys, pull your chairs back into the rainbow.
It's that single.
Pull your chairs back into the rainbow.
That's my favorite subject.
Pull your chairs back in the rainbow, guys. Boys. Aiden.
He's sad. Why don't we get like a pillowcase?
I'm on two.
Okay.
And he had it in his hand.
So, did you team get fair share, or did you get fair share?
Aiden stole my candy. I
And that way.
will do anything.
I have one.
Have a seat. Candy ain't the most important thing.
I want 7.
Guys, protect your candy.
All right, guys, we have a small amount of time to talk about singleness, which is not my favorite thing.
sucks.
I don't like having a small amount of time for anything.
I hate running out of time. So we're going to try and go quick. If you got something important, raise your hand. If you don't have anything important, then keep your mouth shut. We're going to try and go quick, answer any questions we have that are real. And if it ain't, then leave your hand down. Okay, here we go. For every person, is there another person who is perfect in every way for them?
No.
Hey, Daniel. Can you not sit in that chair? Can you put that chair back? Can you put that chair back? Thanks. Awesome. What do you guys think? Yes, no. Give me a shaking head. Give me a nodding head. What do you think? Is there someone out there who's perfect for every person?
Yes!
No. Literally. No.
Hey, Daniel. Daniel, I said put it back.
In the Bible, there.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Usually it's at my desk, so it's fine. Shh. I would say
Yes.
yes and no.
Well, because not perfect.
I would say there's no guarantee, but in all likelihood, there's more than one who's a perfect fit for you. Honestly, just by the numbers, I would say there's more than one who's a perfect fit for you. The Bible's really clear on its criteria, and it basically just says if someone measures up to God's standards, then they're good enough for you, because you probably don't. Pretty straightforwardly, just be humble and realize if you find someone who's really godly, you found someone great. However, there's also no promise in the Bible that God has a match for you. In fact, there's not even a promise that you're going to get married. We talked about this a little bit in the last little section when we were talking about dating. God doesn't say everyone's going to get married. In fact, many people never get married.
I gave you stuff like.
And that's okay in God's eyes. He has a plan for them just the same. No less of a plan. Okay. Is the concept of a soulmate biblical? That somehow someone has a deeper connection with you than someone else, and it's a spiritual thing, under the surface, you're perfect. It's kind of goes along with that, fairy tale. The perfect girl meets the prince, and she's the one. You guys ever heard that phrase? They're the one. I can just tell they're the one.
What if she's gay?
I'm sorry to say that concept. The concept of that other person being the one for you
is totally foreign to the Bible. It's not there. Shh. Caleb.
Why did God make it so like some people don't get married, some other people are men, and God says man is not supposed to be alone?
Ooh, good point. So yeah, first off, there's a few things going on there. Number one, who did he say that about? Did he say that about every single man ever?
Adam.
Yeah, specifically he said it to Adam when, and I want to make this clear, there were no other men on the planet at all. So when he said it, if he was talking about all mankind, then either he was being so general that they didn't even have to exist yet. Okay, so either was he being that general, or he was being so specific as to only be talking about Adam. So in either case, that leaves room for him to say, there's an exception to this rule. I think he's being honest and forthright. I don't think God's being like silly or hiding his meaning at all. I just think he's being general. I think he's talking about mankind as a whole. That it's not good for humans to be alone. I don't even think it's good for women in general to be lonely. Do you? I don't think so. But at the same time, I know that God has a plan for some people to stay single. You know how I know that? Because there was a few of his prophets who he spoke to on a daily basis, just like to their face, basically, that stayed single. And like he was leading them every step of every day of their life, and he led them in singleness. You know how else I know that? Because Jesus was single his whole life. Because it says that.
But he was.
It says that. So if the perfect man can stay single his whole life, if other guys who are walking with God can stay single their whole life, and they're guys who are like talking face to face with God, then there can't be a no exceptions sort of thing going on when he says it's not good for man to be alone. The other thing is this. He was talking to the first man, and just imagine for a second, how long would mankind last if the first man was all alone?
No.
How many babies when there's a guy all by himself?
Quite a while because
0 babies. 0 mankind. It's not really a kind if there's the one. It's just a one.
Soulmate, weren't Adam and Eve soulmates?
Well, the term soulmate is made up by us, is my point. God didn't make up that term. He didn't make Adam and then Eve and go, look, you're soulmates. He said, she's made for you.
What?
Because she was. Which is similar, but it's different. Also, that never repeated itself. He didn't wait for every boy to get born later in history and be like, you need a perfect woman. Here you go. Runs over, makes a woman, brings her over. Like, it never happened again. It was the one time. It was a one-time deal. So even if you want to say, sure, that time it was true, it still doesn't mean it's true for everybody. So again, we're in exception territory, even if it's true. All right.
Daniel?
What if you marry anyone other than this soulmate? Are you doomed to never be happy?
Wait.
No. I actually have weirdly a large amount of experience with marriages through a tangent. Like as a pastor, I don't really do a lot of marriage counseling because like I'm a youth pastor. But some of my kids, some of my students have grown up. I've been a youth pastor for 10 years now. And so I actually got to marry 2 of them. What? That was kind of cool. I got to like be the guy up front. I had the little Bible in the microphone. And oh, yeah. You don't even understand. Like 50% of pastor jokes are about marrying people. That's like 50% of the jokes. So I got to marry former students. Well, one of them was kind of a former student. Not really, but it was close. But the other one was definitely a former student. She was in this youth group like all 3 years of middle school. It's pretty tight. Huh?
So Adam and Eve.
Yep.
Only 2 people on Earth.
Yep.
They got married.
Okay.
Had 2 children.
Got it.
Those were the only people on Earth.
Yep.
one of them
Both of them were boys.
Yep. Did the story end there? Because if it did, then we have a problem. I'm sorry to say, Judah, it gets worse. One of them killed the other one, and there was only one boy. We got real problems then.
Adam and Eve
Also,
had a baby.
Jesus.
Yep.
How long did he live?
33-ish years.
33-ish years.
Maybe 30.
Abel. And then the average people live is 70 years.
Okay. It doesn't.
80.
Nope.
Jesus denies logic.
Nope. That's not how that works. All right. Sorry, Judah. That didn't make a lick of sense. Shh. Limited time. Can't all ask your question at once. Abby.
Jesus faced temptations. Was he attracted to any girls?
Oh, I would guarantee it. Based on the verse that says he faced every temptation that we do. It doesn't just say every temptation. It says every temptation that is common to mankind. Oh, it is. Temptation is being attracted to girls and never getting married. Like, that's temptation.
Well, I thought that it was.
Let me put it this way. You can't be tempted to eat cheeseburgers when cheeseburgers don't exist. You can only be tempted to eat cheeseburgers when there's a cheeseburger in front of you.
I can't be tempted.
Does that make sense?
Exist.
No, I didn't say that. Just Jesus. Just Jesus.
Jesus could not marry.
Didn't say that. It said he didn't. It didn't say he couldn't.
I'm so confused because you said it was a sin to think because that he wanted to.
No. I didn't say sin. I said temptation, which is different. Do you understand the difference between temptation and sin?
Yeah.
So temptation is not a sin until you give in to the temptation. We clear on that? Yeah. Temptation is not a sin until you give in to the temptation. You can be tempted all day long, and if you're handling it, you are asking God for help, and you are resisting temptation, you did not sin. I hope everyone gets that, because there are so many temptations in life that you could feel guilty for, because they're like a horrible temptation. And they're not like a little one where you think like, everybody's tempted like that. Sometimes we're tempted in ways that are just like awful. And we can trap ourselves in guilt thinking my temptation is a sin. But if you're actually standing strong in the Lord and you're resisting that temptation, that's amazing. That's fantastic. That's really good to resist that temptation. So yeah, don't think that just because you have a temptation it's bad. Like giving into the temptation is bad. But having it is just something you have to deal with. And you can get help. You can talk to people. You can pray about it. You can have people around you that prop you up and help you deal with your temptations. Yeah, Hannah.
So for something like that with attraction,
sure.
It could go from being a temptation to a sin if you, like, the length of dwelling on it, right?
It could literally just be the length of dwelling on it. So we've used the example of the cheeseburger before. That's why I referenced it quickly there. If you look at a cheeseburger and go, I would love a cheeseburger, it doesn't mean you've given into your temptation. But if you look at a cheeseburger and like, you don't have money, or maybe you're on a diet and you're like, I'm not allowed to eat cheeseburgers. It would be wrong for me to eat that cheeseburger, or whatever reason cheeseburgers are wrong for you. And you just sit there and you drool. I want the cheeseburger. I want the cheeseburger.
You will die.
You actually crossed the line before you ever grabbed the cheeseburger. You can cross the line just by how you dwell in your thoughts. It's called lust. Lust is when you allow your thoughts to take control of you and not the other way around. When you're in control of your thoughts, you're not lusting. When you let your thoughts run over and take control, and now you're dwelling on that thing, and I really want that thing. Now you're lusting. So you can lust after a cheeseburger, you can lust after a human. You could lust after an Xbox. You could lust after a new phone that doesn't have a cracked screen. Okay? But you can also just want those things and not lust. It's really where your thought life goes. Does your thought life dwell on this, sit there, want it, come up with ways to steal it? That's lust. Okay? Or you just recognize that is something I want. That's fine. That's just a temptation. You can move on from that. Okay. So we're moving in different directions from where your questions really are, and I had plans on what to talk about. I really want to talk about what you guys want to talk about. I want to hear your questions and answer them. So there's some stuff here. If you don't have questions, you can read and just kind of make some conclusions. But I want to see what you guys have to talk about because we have very little time left. Yeah.
So, back to this Adam and Eve. Did Adam and Eve only have 2 boys?
No, that would be absurd.
Did they have a girl?
They had lots of kids. They were alive for over 900 years.
Oh. Big live.
Try that one on for size. So yeah, if you have kids every few years even, and you live for 900, you have a lot of kids.
300.
Like a lot of kids. Way too many kids. Yeah, Krista.
Well, so back to like the Jesus not married.
Yeah.
Were girls attracted to Jesus?
I would imagine some of them were. It does talk about him being followed by his disciples and some of them being girls. It does not go into people followed him for the right reason and she followed him for the right one and she followed from the wrong one and she followed for the right one and it doesn't go into that. But it tells us people were following him. So I would imagine somewhere in that collection, yeah. However, it also actually says, just in one place, just for us to know these things, that Jesus was not an attractive person by their standards. By like their standards at the time, he was a perfectly average, non-special looking person. You wouldn't see him walking down the road with his mouth shut and be like, "Oh, it's Jesus!" You'd see him walking down the road and he would say something. You'd be like, "Whoa, that guy's different. Like there's something way cooler about him than everybody else." But it wasn't until he said something or did something that people even noticed. When he was just walking, he was just a guy.
He wasn't like
Nothing special. He wasn't the only perfectly manicured person in a sea of beardy dudes like we see in the movies. He was just normal. Yeah, Charlie. Did you kind of forget why your hand was up because it was up so long?
Oh, hi.
Hey, Charlie.
So, for some weird reason, now I'm just throwing this out there, random item. Air Jordan Off-White UNCs, all right?
And you could lust after them. It's possible. Really, Charlie, the point is that the amount of time you're spending on them and the amount of times you bring them up shows me that you have crossed the line over into lust. Now, that's just my assessment. I could be wrong. You know, I'm not a real good judge of hearts. But the evidence is there, right? The evidence exists to say that that's probable. So you're probably lusting after those shoes. So here's what you do. When you lust after something you should not have, right? You know what the Bible says?
Why shouldn't I have them?
Is it wise to spend $2,000 on shoes?
Yes. Well, what about
One pair of shoes. $2,000 on one pair of shoes.
they bring me a lot of joy?
No. That's not what I said. So, Charlie, I would say seek advice from people who know investments. And if this is a wise investment and you can justify it, that's fine. If you can't, cut it off. The Bible says if you can't say that it's right, just cut it off.
Here, I actually do have a good reason for them.
All right, we're going to Moses. Sorry, I don't want to dwell on shoes. Nope, don't want to. Shh. We're not dwelling on the shoes. I'm sorry. It's a big deal for you. I get it. But the whole point is that it shouldn't be. The whole point is that it shouldn't be. Moses.
I've had my hand up all this time.
Yeah, oh, dude, you don't have to put your hand up for water. Just go get water. There's a water fountain on the hallway. You guys, if you need water, don't sit here dying of thirst. Go get water. Sorry, Moses. I wish I knew. Yeah, Judah.
So say there's a kid Jim.
Okay.
I hate that.
Jim is an average guy.
Sure, average Jim.
Yeah.
We all say.
An average Jim sees a girl.
Sure.
An average Jim thinks the girl is hot.
Okay. This happens all the time.
But they're not involved. That means he likes the girl.
Like is a word that everyone seems to redefine every 15 seconds, so I can't even. Yeah, okay, sure.
If you're attracted to them, if you see something and you think they're hot,
Yeah.
I mean you're attracted to them.
I would say those are basically synonymous. Yeah. We're getting into like meaning of words now. Is this really the question? You want to know what the words mean? Yeah.
No. No.
Is there a question past this?
No, it's like, say average Jim sees average Aiden-la. And
Not a great example since we've never met anyone named that.
average Aiden-la,
Yeah.
sort of cute.
Judah, is there a real question here?
Yes.
What's the real question?
No, not you.
What is it about?
Just like if a boy sees a girl and thinks they're hot,
Yeah.
I mean they have to like them. You can just see a girl and
Oh.
be attracted to them.
Okay, I see what you're getting at. Yeah. I would say there's plenty of times where you can mentally, just like in your logic brain, say, clearly they are an attractive person. I would assume lots of people are attracted to them. And you can still not really have feelings for them or want to invest any time in them or have any desire to pursue it.
Aren't gay people?
You have no desire to pursue it. You have no desire to do anything about it. And you can just mentally identify that person is an attractive person. Sure, you could do that, yeah. And that in itself means either you're not tempted or you're really good at dealing with your temptations. One of those two is probably true in that case. And that's fine. That's fine. Move on, walk on, nothing wrong with that. All right.
Air Jordans.
Do you have a real question, Titus? Okay, this might be our last one. We're just about out of time.
God said you cannot be gay. But what if you're a Christian
Okay.
and you are gay?
This actually, usually when we talk about lust and attraction and dating, I like to cover this because I think it's important.
Yeah, this is
So, this is a big deal right now. I want to make something really clear. Gay does not always mean everything people think it means. And so when the Bible puts a law against homosexuality, it doesn't necessarily mean what we think it means. So, back to the temptation and the lust. Okay, there's a big difference between temptation and lust. And this is exactly the point of homosexuality versus everything else. If you have a gay attraction, you can resist your temptation and there's no sin there. Right? You could end up dealing with this your whole life. You could have gay attraction your whole life and it's constantly a problem for you. You're always attracted to people of the same sex as you. And if you resist your temptation, just the same as anyone who has a straight attraction and they resist their temptation and they don't lust, you didn't sin.
Guys can be.
So hear me out on this. If that was not true, okay, let's just say for a second that that was not true. If it really was true that even feeling a gay attraction was a sin, then that would mean there were categories of people who couldn't stop sinning. They would never be able to stop. And that's not what the Bible says. The Bible says that through the Spirit you can do all things. You can resist your temptations. So the Bible would be in conflict if this was not true. So when it puts a law against homosexuality, it's talking about going through with it. Not wanting it, going through with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but
So there's a difference between the attraction in the mind and going through with it, with allowing yourself to lust or actually starting to date and sleep with people of the same sex. Like going through with it is different from the attraction.
Wait, but
Separate thing.
if they cannot resist that lust,
It would be exactly the same as a straight person who cannot resist their lust.
would they go?
No difference.
Would they go to hell?
But follow me on this. It's true of everyone who goes through with lust. Doesn't matter if it was straight or gay lust. Does that make sense? The Bible doesn't say this sin is a higher sin, bigger deal sin, you're a worse sin. It just says it's a sin. It says that about like 900 other things. So I can't say it's not a sin, but also I don't want to focus on it and be like, oh, it's the worst sin ever. It's just a sin. Jesus forgives sins. That's what he's in the business of doing. So we should never treat a person who has homosexual attractions as if they're worse than us. We should never treat them really differently than anybody else. They're dealing with something. Guess what? We're all dealing with something too. Now, that said, the real issue is this. This is really the reason why it's such a sticking point and people like to argue and yell about it, is because it's one of the sins. There's several. It's not just the only one. But it's one of the sins where the Bible says, it's a sin, it's wrong. And then the world says, no, it's not. Does that make sense? Like, it's one of those sins. Now, there's a few. But most of the sins, the Bible says, that's wrong. The world's like, yes, I also independently decided that that is wrong. So like we say in the Bible tells us, and we agree with it, lying's bad. And the world, for the most part, has decided lying is bad if you get caught. And in the Bible, it says murder is wrong. It's bad. And most people in most cultures for all of history have agreed. Murder is wrong.
unless you're caught.
Murder's wrong.
If you're caught.
When the Bible says homosexuality is wrong, it's talking about going through with it. It's talking about the action. It's talking about the lust. Then the world says, no. No, it's not. It's fine.
Half bad.
The problem is this. If we don't, every time we say homosexuality is wrong, also say sex before you're married is wrong, and all these other things are wrong too, it's going to sound like we're focusing on homosexuality when the Bible doesn't. I want to be clear on that. The Bible does not focus on it. It's in there. You can't deny it. It's in multiple places, but it's in there less than like most other sins. So the Bible focuses on other things. It focuses on we all sin, and we all need our sins forgiven. There's no focus on one category of sin. Sins forgiven. That's what we need. Yeah, Hannah. Hey guys, let's not play Frisbee right now. This is not Frisbee hour. If the little ones want to play Frisbee in the back, that's cool. Don't worry about it. Don't you guys join in. Yeah, Hannah.
Like you were saying. Yeah.
Sorry, Hannah, what were you gonna say?
Like you were saying earlier about like how it's a sin to go through with it. Is that what you said? A sin to go through with it, and I'm assuming you mean by like going and dating the same sex or stuff like that.
How could she?
Guys, she has a serious question. Please try and treat it seriously.
It's kind of hard to think about because some people like that maybe feel really lonely and want to have a companion like that.
Absolutely.
They can't really see anyone else attractive besides their same sex. And it's really hard for them.
I totally agree. One of the things I've tried to do in researching this topic and getting myself in the right frame of mind is listen to people who deal with it. And there's a really neat pastor from England who's been struggling with homosexual attraction his entire life. And he's remained pure. He has never acted on it. He's always dealt with it. And so he's remained single. He could never bring himself to marry someone, a woman who he really wasn't attracted to. It wasn't something he felt called to do either. He felt like he could just be single. But at no point did it just become easy one day. Suddenly easy. And so he's written books and he's written blogs about like, what is that struggle like to follow God, to give God total control over your life, your love life, everything. And you're dealing with attractions that God says you're not to act on. And one of the things he talks about is loneliness, and that so many of the other gay people he's talked to have said, just honestly confessed to him, it was so much easier to walk into a friend group that pre-existed, and the whole identity was you're gay, and just be one of them, than it was to try and go make a friend group. Than it was to try and go find friends out of the ether, just like pluck them out of nothingness. Like, it was so much easier. And it also became really hard for anyone who was gay who realized, I shouldn't be doing this. It's not good for me. God didn't just outlaw it because he just felt like it. God knows that there's actual consequences from those relationships that the straight relationships don't have. And so he knew that. It's one of the reasons why he outlawed it. It wasn't part of his original design. It goes against what he said was right and good. So when people woke up and they realized, like, I should not act on my gay attractions, it became incredibly hard for them to walk out of those friend circles. But they ended up having to. Because as soon as they told their gay friends, I don't want to be gay. I have the attraction, but I don't want to be that. I want to follow God instead. Their friends basically just said, hit the road. They didn't want to have anything to do with them. Does that make sense? So, like, I get it. Like, it's hard, and you want the companionship.
Yeah, it totally makes sense, but, like, obviously not everyone is Christian.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So there's probably a lot of people who, like, I mean, they probably know, like, what heaven is, but they've been, like, told by other people that they can't go to heaven because of that, but they want to be themselves.
Yeah. Aiden, your sister's here. You should go.
My sister?
Yeah.
They want
Bye, Aiden. I would say this, Hannah. I would say this. I realize this issue has, like, kind of overtaken the conversation, so I want to wrap with this, guys. Shh. The most important thing in any person's life that is not saved is to find Jesus Christ. It's the most important thing. It does not matter if they're gay. It does not matter if they're straight. It does not matter if they're dating 50 people a year. Okay, that might be a huge problem, but the bigger problem is always they find Jesus, that they have their sins forgiven. And the truth is, you could preach at someone all day long about what's right and what's wrong, and that won't forgive them of their sins. Now, maybe they do need to know right up front, because maybe they don't know anything about God. Like, they need to know what sin is and that they've sinned. Like, maybe they need to hear that. But that shouldn't be the end of the conversation. It shouldn't be the whole conversation. Like, Jesus needs to be the meat of that conversation. He needs to be the bulk of it. Does that make sense? So yeah, I don't want anyone to think that, like, because I have an opinion on this, that it's the most important thing. It's not. Jesus is the most important thing. And everything else will follow. It's true of everyone's life, though. Like, it doesn't matter what sin someone is engaged in. They can't really tackle it without Jesus. It doesn't matter what the sin is. It might be dating 50 people a year. Like, they can't tackle that without Jesus. They need him. 365 a year. Be nightmarish. Hannah, you got something to add?
Yeah, I was just going to say that really isn't an only gay people problem, because
It's really not.
Mary straight people that are not attracted to their spouse. And that doesn't suddenly make it okay for them to leave their spouse, cheat on their spouse. They love as a choice and not because they're necessarily attracted to the person.
That's awesome. Yeah. Marriage is a bigger thing than attraction by far. It's a much bigger thing. And really, Jesus says that the best love is the love where you lay down your life for someone. And if attraction was always pulling you away from your marriage, but you were truly faithful to your spouse, that would mean you were sacrificing every day. And that is just a great testimony of love. It is such a good show of what love really is. All right. Is it real? Okay, go ahead.
So,
Air Jordan says what?
No, James, let Charlie speak.
So, oh shoot, what was I gonna say? I've had my hand up for a while now, and I kind of zoned out.
Can I get one of the leaders to run downstairs and answer parents at the door? Thank you, guys. They might be already coming in just because the high schoolers are out there.
Because I had my hand up for a while.
I'm sorry, man.
It's not actually.
Oh, and Elliot, your mom is here.
Same thing.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay. You should head downstairs.
See ya. My sister's telling her that I'm too late.
I don't think that's how that works. You should head downstairs. All right. Well, we're going to wrap up and pray, but I just want you guys to know that being single is a superpower in the Bible. It is the ability to give your whole life to something. When you're married, you can never stop giving your life to your spouse. Once you have kids, you can never stop giving your life to your kids. You have these things that God's given you that are permanent uses of your life, and they're good. There's nothing wrong with that. It's really good to have a spouse and give yourself to your spouse and just give them all of your time and attention and focus and be there for them. And likewise for kids. When you have kids, if you have kids, it's good to be there for your kids. However, when you're single, you don't have a spouse and you don't have kids to give time to give focus to. And so you have this 100% pie chart, and you can just put God on the whole pie chart and be like, God, it's all for you. And married people can't do it. Isn't that crazy to think about? Like, marriage is so cool. Marriage is so awesome. It's one of the best things that there is in life. And yet, in singleness, you have something that married people can never have back. You have this total focus of life. And so if God calls you to the mission field, you can go there without a moment's notice. If God calls you to go, like, be with someone who is, like, strung out on drugs and they need someone to just watch them and keep them from using again, you could just be there. If you have a person that needs utter focus and attention, you can just be there. If God calls you to go work a job in, like, a foreign country, you just go. It's really cool. And so the Bible talks about it as some of us for a little while, and then for others it lasts our whole life. And it says that both are good. That if you get married someday, it's a good thing. And if you never get married, it's a good thing. This marriage, not marriage, it's not the determiner of what makes your life good. It's following God and his plan for you. Abby, last thing, and then we got to go.
Okay. God, your whole life, like, wait for your spouse, like, you can focus.
Yes, absolutely you can. Paul writes this in a really interesting scenario, though. Okay, so the scenario is they're living in the time when Christianity first becomes illegal. And people were being put in the equivalent of an electric chair, like what we would do now, let's say. And the spouse is sitting there, the switch is not flipped, and the other spouse is across the room with the guards, and they say, renounce Jesus Christ or I'll flip the switch.
And you'll die.
Like, this was the kinds of scenarios that Christians were being put in. And so Paul said, as a single person, you don't have to worry about this. You'll just be the person in the chair.
But if you love the person in the chair, wouldn't that also be loving God?
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying it's bad. It's not. Remember, both categories are good. But Paul's just saying you have less to worry about in this life, and you have more ability to only think about the things of heaven. It's not that these things, spouses and children, are bad. They're great. But he says those are not heaven things. Once their salvation is secure, once they're headed to heaven, now they are one of the things you do in this life, which is good, but it means less time for all of the spiritual things of the kingdom. Now, you're right, though. You and your spouse could both work in the kingdom, and that's the plan. That's what God wants. He would absolutely love that. But Paul was speaking in a scenario, in a situation that we in America are not in right now, but I would say maybe a couple in Afghanistan right now would be in. Does that make sense? Can you imagine being a Christian couple in Afghanistan right now versus being a Christian couple in America?
Oh my gosh, it'd be so much.
It's a different world, right? It's different. And so Paul's not saying like for all couples it will be harder. No, for some couples it's great. Now you can do two things at once, right? You can both serve the kingdom at the same time. Well, technically you still could have done that when you were single, right? So there's the rub. It's not necessarily an upgrade. It's lateral. But when you're single, you don't have to worry about it. It just is 100% all the time. When you're married, it's actually a process. You have to work on being 100% for the kingdom because now you can both get distracted. So again, not bad, just different and sometimes even harder. Singleness can be easier sometimes. But Paul finishes that section in, I've got the verse here. He says, but if they can't control themselves, they should just go ahead and get married. It's better to marry than to burn with lust. He says if you're dealing with lust and there's another person who would marry you, you should just get married. He says that's actually easier. But if you don't ever have problems with lust, you are one of those very, very few. And they do exist. People exist who never deal with lust, and that's fantastic. It means they have the gift of celibacy. Pretty cool. That's like a gift from the Spirit.
Text my mother because she asked to know when.
Yeah. You actually can head downstairs. We're pretty much done. We're just going to pray. All right, guys, the full table, have a seat. We're going to pray. It's time to get on out of here.
Am I allowed to choke the child?
No, you're not. Under any circumstances. No.
Well, today.
This was a lot to take in. If you guys want to, you can always text me, email me, call me. Find me on Facebook. I never go on Facebook though. Your parents should all have my number if you don't. And you're welcome to ask questions after this point. I'll be here Sunday. You can ask questions on Sunday. But I encourage you most of all, more than any of that, talk to your parents. Talk to your parents. They know you better than I do, and they know a lot about relationships. All right.
I have a question.
Your parents are here?
Bye, Chuck.
You can ask me later. Literally just I'm going to pray. Ask you later. You can't ask me now. All right, let's pray. If you got to go, you got to go. Jesus, bless these middle schoolers. Bless the ones that already left. Help them to hold on to their questions until they can ask their parents. Lord, I just ask you to give them guidance and lead them on your path. We pray all this in your name. Amen. Amen. I love you guys. Thank you for sticking around. Have a great night.
Good night.
Alrighty. Pretty much all your parents are here. Make sure you grab your phone.
Whoa. What about the boat bucket?
Right here.
You didn't even do it.
Nope. It's too fast.
No.
Yes. I wouldn't have thought singleness would have been the worm can opener. I would have thought if there was going to be a flurry of questions, it would have been on dating. Seemed like a safe bet. They really didn't get all that invested until the end.
Krista, we're going to do 3 call
Oh, you want to buy something?
These are what?
Pick up the candy wrappers.
Pick up the wrappers, Bobo.
$100 and you give it back to him in pennies.
I have pennies, but I don't have that many pennies.
Maybe you do.
I don't. We did $100. The biggest we ever get is 20. I think maybe once we did break 100, but it was in 20. Like we couldn't do 10 or 1. Where's Caleb?
Arizona. Wait. Arizona. Probably the biggest. What?
Brother.
We go and get this.
Still $1.
But it's bigger at Wednesday.
The bigger one track, Bobo. Good job.
You do more than 3?
Yeah, we like stacking up all the way up.
Oh, I do in 3 steps.
Good job, man.
These kids are messing.
because they're listening to just different colors. Alright, Crystal, I'll get the rest of the chairs from here, okay, because they're going to be tall. You said,
I think he went to the bathroom.
Should I use my crutches or should I just keep them up here?
who went?
Where did my crutches? Did my mom bring my crutches back?